Oh, would you look at that? Ben and Woods, 97.3. The Fan. Good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday to you. We will. I promise you, we will get our heads right today. We will, for sure, because we have a show. So our heads are already right. Very, very right. Like I look forward to these so much because, well, they're really easy to do for us. We're pretty good in the old 3-hour window. Actually, we're pretty good in the 3-hour, 40-minute window. It's just that dreaded last 15, 20 gets us sometimes. I'm Woodsy. That is Paul Reindl. Good morning, Paulie. He's our vice president. I'd said the good morning before I introed you fully. Paulie is our vice president. Paulie is also our executive producer, YouTube director, the Marty Scorsese of YouTube, as it were. Good morning, Paulie.
Good morning. I feel like a real YouTuber now.
Do you?
I've got the
neon behind me. Did you see that, Benny?
I did see that.
Searing my eyeballs from here.
He's starting to look like what is it? Jennifer Aniston in Office Space. You need a certain number of pieces of flair.
He has so much flair.
And in his YouTube stream video, he's accumulating the required number of pieces of flair.
So
Adam would be kind of the boss who might mandate a certain number of pieces of flair.
Are you kidding?
In the background of our YouTube
Hey,
stream.
guys. Woodsy, you and I need to talk about your flair because I have no flair.
I mean, I've got some flair. I've got
Pound Town.
I've got Pound Town.
Yeah.
I've got the chains and my cardboard cutout back there.
I have no flair. None. But
you
it's
have the door and
the door.
You have the fire. Oh no, that's the thermostat.
Yeah, no flair.
And a Christmas card, which I don't think we can even see on the street.
Correct. So, Paulie, Benjamin Higgins is here. He's our Secretary of Homeland Exploration. Benjamin, do you know what that sign is? Because I don't. I don't know what happened, why it's here, where it came from.
I have no idea where it came from.
Paulie,
I've heard Paulie say that phrase once or twice.
If
you've never heard me say that.
I've heard that.
And I know that.
Why do I feel like he has said?
I feel like you've said that a couple
about
times.
Damn time.
Is that not your signature phrase?
Actually, I have it tattooed on my back.
Hold on. So to explain to the listening audience, I walked in this morning,
catchphrase,
and there's a neon sign behind Paulie that says "About damn time," and I looked at him and I just go, "Just save it." Just save it for the air. So it's here. It's very bright.
It's very bright.
It's yellow. Is it a Padres related? Did you have this custom made?
Yeah, that's gonna. I don't like Bring the Gold, so I'm hoping that
damn time.
Yeah, I'm hoping Peter Seidler's actually on YouTube right now, and he goes about damn time. Padres 2023. Yeah. No, I was walking around after the show yesterday. You guys had just left. I finished up everything that I had to do. Walked over, as I sometimes do. I won't say always do, but sometimes I walk over to Adam's desk just to see if he needs anything.
Yeah, shoot the breeze with
good
the boss.
to go.
Probably a smart thing.
He wasn't at his desk.
Oh,
so he was probably out for an early lunch or something.
Yeah,
so
that happens also.
So I turned around and left. And as I was leaving, we have, this area. We've talked about this area. There is a table about 100 feet away from where we're sitting right now, with a bunch of stuff on it.
Yeah, it's a bunch of old
and there's a sign
swag,
that says free, take it. And it's like radio giveaway swag from 1998, maybe.
That's new. Some of the stuff's new because it's like newer bands.
I didn't even know they still made CDs, but I'll take the word for it.
They do. They still make CDs.
We have about 100 CDs over there.
Still make vinyl. There's a lot of vinyl over there of the not very good artists. So what happens is when just so you guys know, and our audience knows, when a band, like let's say there's a new band, like when Imagine Dragons came out. And they would send you got to do more these days than just send your music, your CD. You need to impress the program directors and the music directors. So you send stuff and you see some weird stuff and those PDs get it back there. And 99% of the time, they're like, I don't want it. Some stuff they probably keep and take home with them. And it's one of the perks of the job. They used to do cocaine, actually, was what bands used to bring into program directors. They'd bring in their album and they would tuck like an ounce of cocaine into the deal and be like, play my record. And the PD would look at it and go, oh yeah, I'm going to play your record.
Now, way back in the day, probably even before our time, it was the actual DJ would make the decisions
Yes,
as
a
to
lot
what
of
they were going
DJs
to
would
play.
make
And,
that,
you know, they would wine and dine the DJs and try to get them to play their record on
That's
the
right.
radio, because that would be huge. Airplay, big markets, you know, that could lead to a following, that could lead to, you know, a band
riches
becoming, you know, incredibly famous.
Oh, some of your favorite bands from the 50s, 60s, and 70s were all discovered through payola. That's how they got on the radio, and you never would have heard of them otherwise. It was a lot of power for those guys to have, a lot of power to decide, hey, these fates are in my hands. They're in my hands. I can make this band. I can break this band. What do you have to offer me? So there was a scandal. It was a huge, huge scandal.
Now, ethical, you know, radio operators, program directors, and DJs would just honestly listen to the music and try to make the decision of what they thought was the best stuff to play for their audience,
right,
that was the most
best fit,
worthy, and they would put that on the air. And, you know, that's how it was supposed to work. But obviously, kind of the underbelly of the radio world was that there was, you know, little kickbacks and pay to play certain artists, and they would get more airtime, and thus they would probably end up becoming more popular.
Yep, that's exactly right. I mean, it was pretty nasty back in the day. And I don't know that it doesn't go on now in music radio still. I've not heard of it happening in a long,
but you
long time.
can attest that at least, you know, at a larger company like ours, the sets, the playlists, they come from way above somewhere, and you don't really have the authority to change what is played on the radio during your show, even if it's your show.
Oh yeah, I had my own show. I had no say in the thing. I had an open that I could play for like 10 seconds, 15 seconds. The only power I had was I could drop songs to make the timing work out with the clock. And I would always drop the wrong song and get in trouble because I wanted to play the good song, and I would drop the bad song. Woodsy, that's not a drop option. Oh, it's not. My bad. That's my fault. But I just assumed, since they'd heard Capital City Safe and Sound 14 times, I could drop that one. No, you can't drop an A. Don't drop A's, Woodsy. All right, fine. I wanted to hear The Cult, so I dropped Capital Cities. So that's the only power I had.
Dun, 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 dun.
So anyway,
dun, dun.
Paulie finds this sign back there. It says "About damn time." It's like searing bright,
which was already
neon.
his catchphrase.
Which was already his catchphrase.
There's a box of about 100 CDs. I took a picture. There's a like stuffed woolly mammoth named with a Jordan Harvey. Is that I don't know if that's a musician.
Probably.
There's a shot of tequila in a little airplane shot. There's a couple of records. There's a face mask with 2020 on it, so maybe that's been used. I'm not sure. There's some t-shirts. But maybe we should give some of this away tomorrow to remote.
I'm down. Bring some of it out there.
And there was a box with a neon sign, and they go, "That looks like a fake neon sign."
So that's got to be like a song from somebody. Did you look it up? Who it came from?
I typed in about
damn time.
And
I can hear it in my head. It's about damn time.
Oh, you think it's country?
Oh, come on, dude. It's on the country table.
Yeah, there's a band called Neon Union.
This can't be real. All right, this is it. What did he say?
Let's go.
Any song where the first lyric is catfish, it's got to be
6-inch lips. What? Yeah, no kidding. This is your fault.
Oh.
It's about that. It's about damn time. This is god awful. God,
It's really bad. I know if you're watching on YouTube, you didn't hear just about any of that.
oh, so
and
sorry, YouTube.
You're welcome.
Yeah, that's
We did you
terrible.
a favor.
Well, we got the sign. I mean, I'd say turn it off until the Padres win a game. It's very bright. Maybe that could be the
victory
victory
lights.
lamp.
Wow, that's a
Like
good
the
idea.
victory
Like
lamp.
the beam that the Sacramento Kings had at the top of their
It's
arena.
off.
We light the victory
Good.
lamp.
Turn that turd off
after a win. Oh, it went back on. No, there you go. Yeah.
After
All right, it's
last
off.
night's
So
game.
you know, if you miss the game the day before and you tune into the YouTube stream, you know immediately if the Padres won or not based on whether the about damn time sign is lit on the Ben and Woods YouTube
Well, it's
stream.
about damn time. We got to have that drop for when they win it. Put it in the victory montage, Polly. It's about damn time.
Someday,
when they
I
win
hope
a game.
to play the victory montage.
You and me both, buddy. You and me.
After an extra inning game.
You and me both. Yeah, 0-4 in those extra inning games. Not what you want, not ideal. A couple of years ago, I remember we couldn't lose in an extra inning game. Now the vomit bag comes out when the Padres hit extra innings. But yeah, listen, nothing to I don't think overly panic about. Couple of things we can break down from last night's games. It was a weird one. It was unquestionably a very, very weird game. And not here to brightside anything for you. This is genuinely how I feel. Still not worried. I'm not worried about this team in the slightest.
I've got some interesting stats that we can chew on a little bit. Now that we're starting to get toward a more statistically significant number of games. What are we at? 37 now through the season. What did we say? 50 is kind of what Bob Melvin even says through. You got
40.
Is it 40 games?
It was Wayne Kirby. We had him on the show, and he said what we do is we look at it every 40 games.
40 games.
Yep.
So we're almost at 40.
Yep.
And for the most part, there's a lot of good for the Padres through 40 games. But there's certainly one very alarming statistic that doesn't seem to be turning around. So we'll discuss that. Of course, we're heading toward an early pregame show today, the series finale against the Minnesota Twins. First pitch at 10:10, which means Sam Levitt will be in with his pregame show at 9:10. So we will go until just after 9 o'clock, almost an hour less than usual today on Ben and Woods. So we got to cram everything in, all of our regular features. It's Thursday. We'll play a little Real or Fake, try to qualify someone for our trip to Las Vegas. That's coming up in less than an hour now. And it is a Smart Baseball Thursday. Eno Saris will join us at 8:35 on our Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad fan hotline. Save money the right way with Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad. Visit them today in the Carlsbad Auto Mall. Chevrolet, find new roads. Sound good to you?
Sounds great to me.
All right, that's the plan. The light is off. The Padres lost. We will get to our daily ditty when we come back. Mother's Day theme songs that are inspired by our mothers. It's a Woods pick today.
Yeah, my mom made a selection this morning. I called her on the way in, so she sent her selection over.
We will find out what that is coming up next with Ben and Woods. Back after a check of traffic and Kelly Danick on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Such a jam, man. Whew. Called my mom this morning on the way in. She's always been an early bird, always. So I called her and caught up with her, and I said, "Oh, by the way, happy Mother's Day this weekend. We're doing the Daily Ditty today." I don't know how much she listens. I know my dad's listening right now. I said, "What would you pick for a song?" We went through a couple, and she said, "Ooh, give me the Eagles. Take It to the Limit." And I go, you know what? It reminds me of when I was a little kid driving around in your Cutlass Supreme, listening to the Eagles. Crank that right there, Paul. It's the best part. I don't care what anybody says. The Eagles are a fantastic
Do
band.
people not say
Yes,
that?
they do.
Really?
Yeah,
I was just gonna ask
stupid
that same-
movie,
Wow.
that dumb movie, The Big Lebowski, and it's the line in Lebowski. Man, I hate the effing Eagles.
I would
man.
say
they're
that-
so good, dude.
I would say that the Eagles, maybe even more than the Beatles, have the largest number of songs that I truly enjoy of any band. Now,
They're fantastic.
I'm not saying
man.
that I love Eagles songs more than there's a lot of songs that I like, but in terms of like consistency, like 15 songs that I just really, really love. And if I hear it on the radio, not going to turn off that Eagles song. They have like the most.
They're so good. I mean, you have Don Henley, you've got Glenn Fry, you've got Joe Walsh. Give me a freaking break, dude. You got Don Felder. Like, I know that they're
First song I ever learned on guitar was "Take It Easy."
they're a little bit overplayed, like most bands from that era, but man, they are about as solid as it gets. So big fan. Look at these guys in the chat. What other song do they have besides Hotel California? There's a really good documentary that they did. Now, I'm going to give you this. It's about 4 hours long. So strap in, and it is so good. But it goes from the very beginning, from when Henley and Fry were playing with Linda Ronstadt back in the days of the Troubadour in LA, when in the 70s. And then it goes all the way to when they got back together. But yeah, I mean, they're just a legendary American band. Legendary. I think hating them is a bit. It's a bit from the Big Lebowski. Somebody says boomer talk. It's not, I guess, fine. It's boomer talk. My mom likes it. It's for her. So listen, there she goes. Thank you, Mom. Love you so much. Happy Mother's Day to you.
I know my mom would be happy with that. Choice
My wife, it's
as
her
well.
favorite band as well. So I really
No doubt
killed
about
two
it.
birds with one stone there.
You can win the ultimate Vegas weekend by heading to 97.3 The Fan, SD.com/Vegas, and signing up for your chance to win a weekend getaway at Circa Resort and Casino Las Vegas, including 2 nights in a sunset suite, a cabana at Stadium Swim, and tons more. You definitely want to sign up for that one. That seems like it would be a lot of fun. We're going to get into the Padres. We already had an off-the-air debate over the last break.
The non-catch or the
About
catch?
the non-challenge of the catch or non-catch by Joey Gallo in the first inning, and whether Bob Melvin and his video crew are dropping the ball a little bit, just in terms of what should and shouldn't be challenged. They've challenged some things and lost challenges that feel like, not great challenges at the time early in the game. This time they were more conservative, a better hold on to it. Didn't challenge one that could have left the Padres in a situation with 2 on, 1 out.
Are they spooked because the challenges that they've made challenges that should have been overturned that weren't.
I don't know that they would have won this challenge or not.
I don't think if they saw the same replay that we were shown on TV, they're not winning that challenge. And then they've blown their challenge.
But I do know that, after they went through several replays, there was clearly an angle where you saw the ball touching the ground.
I never saw that angle. All I saw was Twitter and a still shot.
That came from the broadcast that they showed.
The first replay we saw, though, but how long did that take?
I swear I didn't see the ball touch grass until after the game.
I saw the still shot 20 minutes later, and I went, where is that from?
I will say that I got one of those alerts, the MLB alerts on my phone. Watch this great Joey Gallo catch within 2 or 3 minutes, and it was the Twins broadcast team. They immediately said, "Ooh, it looks like the ground may have caused that fumble. Looks like the Twins might have gotten away with one right there." Even the Twins broadcasters were pretty dicey about whether Joey Gallo had actually made that catch that, was in his glove for a second, popped out, caught it barehanded. Jake Cronenworth completely left out, hung out to dry. I mean, he's got the play in front of him. He's watching. He can't determine whether or not it goes in or out, but I've got to assume he saw the umpire. So when he didn't run back to first, it got me wondering, did the umpire originally kind of rule safe, like, oh, he didn't catch it? And then when he saw it,
he was standing on second.
When he saw it go into the bare hand, did he change it to out? Because you do that as the umpire. What is the base runner supposed to do? Like, you've got to go on what the umpire says. So Manny's standing at first, Jake's standing at second. They're both thinking, all right, bloop single. We got first and second. One out. Juan Soto coming up.
One of the hottest hitters
Pablo
in baseball.
Lopez is already over 20 pitches in the first inning. A lot of guys, a lot of pitchers get to him in the first inning, or they lock in. You don't get a chance. That could have been a huge first inning for the Padres right there. Instead, it's inning over. They're walking off the field. I mean, what better time to take even like a 20, 30% chance on a challenge right there? That is a game changer in my mind, a potential real game changer. Now, you lose it, you come down to the 8th inning, it's tied, and there's a call that doesn't go your way.
You
don't have your challenge. I get it.
That's happened. I feel like that's happened to Bob Melvin and the Padres 6 times already this year.
But ultimately, they never used the challenge. They never needed it. It ended up being lost to time because they won't get it back, and they never had an opportunity to use it in that game.
Well, I don't know if Bob talked about it after the game. I went to bed after the game.
He did. He said, they took the quick look, and it looked like he caught it in his bare hand. And I thought the flap of the glove was underneath the ball clearly on the replay that we all saw. I thought
he got under it and it popped up.
The flap,
and barehanded it.
I thought the flap flipped it up, and then he barehanded. And I thought, I'm so glad I didn't get snarky on Twitter about it because people are like, why wouldn't you challenge that? And I literally was about to write, well, because they have eyes. It was pretty clear after the replay. Lesson learned there. There has to be, and I understand, Ben, you don't want to get to a point in a baseball game where every little thing takes 15 minutes to challenge, but I don't know, man. I honestly thought the next play with Soto,
next inning, Juan Soto tries to steal third, would have been there with 1 out. So I did as well, and I tweeted again, hey, another non-challenge. After the game, they talked about that one, and they said, and I couldn't see it on the replay, that who's the third baseman for the Twins? He had his foot blocking the bag, and Soto looked like his hand was on the bag. It was actually on his foot. Okay. He beat the throw. He did. He got his hand in there, but couldn't get
his hand was on the foot.
Couldn't get around the foot of the fielder, which is legal. And I mean, you can do that. That's a good play by the fielder, and not a ton that the runner can do. But you feel, hey, I got a good read. I beat the throw. I get my hand in there, and all of a sudden I can't get around a cleat. And I get tagged out. That's a tough one.
Did anybody say? Does anybody know how many, what's our record? We know our record in extra inning games now. It's 0-4.
Correct.
What is our record on challenges this year? Have we
good
won?
question.
Have we won one challenge?
Yeah, I'm sure we've won some. I mean,
I think I can remember one. I don't know. I thought that they were a little bit shaky to do it because and a lot of these challenges, again, have been wrong. Not enough evidence to overturn. That may have been one, and you'll never know. That's the crap part, and that's what you're saying. Throw it, and if it doesn't
if
work,
umpires didn't make so many mistakes,
that's the thing.
You could also feel confident challenging early in the game, going, I trust these guys are going to get it right most of the time, and I'm not going to need my challenge later. So on this close play, it's worth taking the gamble, because I thought that was a game-changing moment.
Yeah, could have been
in that game. That
could have blown it open.
Early offense is sometimes the only offense you get. The Padres ended up not scoring until the 7th inning on a home run, the only run that Pablo Lopez allowed. We'll get to all of those highlights, wrap up the rest of the 4-3 extra inning loss. And, through 37 games, the real one area that the Padres have failed in this year, it's really just one. If you really get down to it, it's just the one area that the Padres are failing. It's cost them probably 4 or 5 more wins that they could have. They could have a really good record.
Really, that's why
23-14, really solid start.
And you know what, man? That's why. That is why I'm not panicked right now. I'm not panicked. I may seem panicked,
But they got to
I'm
figure
not
it out.
panicked.
They do have to figure it out.
Yeah, it's going to tilt. It's gonna tilt.
I've been saying it as well, and it's
been 6 weeks. It's
not
gonna
tilting
It's
yet.
gonna tilt.
All right,
It's
we'll
gonna
talk
tilt.
about that coming up. It's Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. This hour 97.3 The Fan is brought to you by Big Box Storage. Visit bigbox.com. Need to rent a storage unit? Forget renting and loading a truck. Big Box Storage delivers the storage unit right to you. Load it at your convenience, and it'll be picked up and accessible in your storage unit. Need storage? Get the storage you need with free delivery and pickup at bigbox.com.
Have you guys ever used a big box storage?
I have had neighbors who have brought it by, and it looks like nice and convenient.
Maybe we always talk about like the greatest inventions of all time, and that's in my top 10. We did it for our last move. Phenomenal. Sits in your drive. You just can take stuff and load at your leisure, and there's not a big giant truck in the way. And they just pick it up, deliver. It's phenomenal. Phenomenal. First time we ever used it. Incredible.
I try to keep. And I don't want to have so much stuff that I need to off-site it and rent a storage unit ever. Then I just got too much stuff.
Yeah, you haven't moved in a long time.
True.
Yeah, and we're not moving for a long time. But if you're going to move,
I'll every couple of years get a dumpster and clear out the junk sometimes. But I have not done the storage unit thing.
Collecting crap. We are collecting so much crap.
We get like
in our lives
2 free trips to the Escondido dump every year.
Yeah, we got a coupon and you can load up the back.
I'll just go rent the truck once or twice a year, load it up, and toss it all away.
It's not my favorite day.
I haven't got one of those coupons since the pandemic.
It,
I miss that. Yeah,
feels good.
I do too. I like it.
It's a good deep clean.
I got a little bit of that Marie Kondo in me, just get rid of stuff. And
what is Marie Kondo?
I don't know what that means.
She's the expert at minimizing, get rid of all the junk you don't need in your life and just need a minimalistic living environment.
How minimalistic could you go?
It's tough for me.
It's very tough.
I'm
a collector of things.
I'm by no means am I a hoarder.
Right.
I've seen the horror stories of that. It can be bad, but dude, especially with clothes, there could be a t-shirt that I got from it has a special attachment to it. I got it at a concert or something, away. And I'm I haven't worn this in 3 years. Yep. But I'm what if there's a time where I'm gonna need that damn shirt? I don't want to give it away.
In the same way.
Yeah, we do the Goodwill and load up clothes and bags, and at least once a year we donate 3 trash bags full of clothes that we don't wear anymore that are still in good shape to Goodwill.
We're obviously delaying Padres talk because why not? Have you guys have heard of Buy Nothing, right?
No.
Buy Nothing is a Facebook group.
Yeah.
And it will be hey, I'm giving this away. My wife is I'll walk out and in the driveway, there's like candy. And I'm what is this candy doing in the driveway? She's I'm giving it away. Halloween candy. She gave it away. People will come get it. They'll pick it up. You don't have to buy it. You leave it in the driveway. It's just hoarders trading things, essentially, is what it is. I saw an Instagram meme. The guy was talking to me. He goes, my wife's in this Facebook group called Buy Nothing, and there are 2 granola bars that we didn't want sitting in our driveway that somebody's coming to pick up. It's absolutely true.
That seems a little extreme.
It is a touch extreme. But I got Bose golf clubs that are a little too big for him. I got them on Buy Nothing. Somebody's I'm getting rid of these. I'm okay, we'll take them in our neighborhood. Went and picked them up. It's pretty great. Didn't cost me a nickel. I'm surprised you don't you could get a whole new wardrobe on there.
That's true.
As thrifty as you are.
Or I could get rid of a lot of things.
Or you can get rid of a lot of things.
Yeah,
check it out.
Buy Nothing.
Buy Nothing.
Hey, you guys like bucket hats?
Because you have a ton. All right, let's get into this garbage.
All right, we will get to all the highlights or Padres wrap-up of yesterday's extra inning loss right after this check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the premier Cadillac of Carlsbad Traffic Center, part of the Premier Auto family, here's Kelly Danek.
Traffic is sponsored by Big Box Storage. Visit bigbox.com. Great time to be out on the roads, guys. We're not showing any problem spots at all. Everything's moving pretty nicely for you. The bridge in good shape heading over to Coronado. Coming out of Santee, you're going to start seeing that usual company westbound 52. Need to rent a storage unit? Forget renting and loading a truck. Big Box Storage delivers the storage unit right to you, loaded at your convenience, and it'll be picked up and accessible in your storage unit. Get the storage you need with free delivery and pickup at bigbox.com. I'm Kelly Danek with Ben & Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
It's a shame if they lose.
You can visit Pity City, but you can't live there.
Did you miss any of the Padres game yesterday?
Oh, it's been a great day today. Can't wait for more.
Oh, God, here we go. Jesus Christ.
Cancel the parade. That's why you play the games.
It's the Padres wrap-up with Ben & Woods.
Slam Diego? More like Fail, Diego.
Presented by Hamul Casino. With thrilling slots and tables and all the best rewards, Hamul Casino has all the fun you're looking for. Hamul Casino, fun above all else. On 97.3 The Fan.
I just felt the way that the roster is built, they would have to outscore their opponents to win.
And he does it again here to get ahead of Kepler. Swung on another fly ball. This one a little bit better hit. Fernando's turning back. He looks up, and it is gone. 1-0 Twins on the Max Kepler home run here in the bottom of the first. Next pitch swung on. Driven to center field. Trent Grisham is going back. He's looking up. This one is off the top of the wall. Run is going to score, and it's a double. Sliding safely into second base for Carlos Correa. The Twins have a 2-0 lead on the 2-out rally. Back-to-back doubles by Kepler and Correa against Seth Lugo here with 2 outs. 1-2 to Kirilloff. Line drive, base hit into right field. Fernando's charging. Are they going to send him? They are. Here comes the throw. It's a one-hopper. It is going to be in time. Great throw by Fernando Tatis Jr. Brett Sullivan with the swipe tag. 1-2 to Soto. Fly ball. Pretty well hit to center field. Taylor going back. He's at the warning track. He's at the wall. Leaps. It's gone. Home run for Juan Soto. And the Padres now trail this ball game 2-1. Austin Nola at the plate now. Odor over at third, 1 down. Infield is in. He shows bunt. He gets it down the third base line. The run is going to score. There's no play but to go over to first base. Did they get to Austin Nola at first? They do. As Polanco got his feet crossed up. The last second he was able to tag the base. But an excellent job of execution by Austin Nola on the safety squeeze. Padres have a 3-2 lead here in the top of the 10th. 0-1. Ground ball inside the first base bag. Racing over for it is Tatis. The run is going to score, and we have a tie ball game. Quickly as that. Odor and Cronenworth on the infield. Austin Nola, the only difference. Ground ball past the diving Jake Cronenworth down the first base line. The run is going to score, and the Twins are going to win this ball game by a score of 4-3 in the bottom of the 11th inning.
Well, I mean, it comes down again. What were they, 4 for 10 with runners in scoring position? We were 0 for 5. So we had our opportunities. We did get some big hits today, and we came back and, against a really good bullpen, and they had a lead. Just couldn't finish it up.
Yep. Yeah, that was the 13th game. I went back and tabulated all of them. That was the 13th game out of 37 this season. So more than 1/3 of every game played by the Padres in which they did not get a single hit with a runner in scoring position. And the Padres have lost 12 of those and only won 1. So 1-12 when they don't get a hit with runners in scoring position. 18-6 when they do get a hit with runners in scoring position. So if they get just 1 hit, which seems like a very low bar. I mean, one infield single with a runner at second, a blooper with a runner at third.
Ground ball with eyes.
They're winning 3 out of every 4 games when they do that once in a 9-inning period.
I understand. Last night was one of those. It was such a good game. I mean, it was such a well-pitched game. It was such a fascinating edge of your seat. And by edge of your seat, I mean walking around the house like, let's go. Like it was a good game. It was just like the Dodger game the other night. Just the result wasn't there. They're just not able to get over that tiny little hump. This is not a team that's going out and getting bodied, losing by 6, losing by 8. And I know there's no moral, victories. That said, they're in every damn game. They're in almost every damn game they're in.
Every game this month, the Padres have had the winning run at the plate in their last at-bat. Whether or not they've won or lost, they've either been ahead or they've had the actual winning run at the plate in their final at-bat. So there's not been a game in May that the Padres couldn't have taken with 1 timely hit.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, and that's, I guess you could, if you want to spin it, you can say, good. That's what you want. You want to be in these ball games late. And I'll tell you, man, there was a couple moments last night that stood out to me that were game changers, in my opinion. We talked about the non-challenge. Okay. Yeah. I mean, there needs to be some 15 seconds to look at that play is not enough. It's just not enough time. So I can understand that they'd be reticent to challenge based on how recent challenges have gone. Thing is, you take it with you, you lose it. You don't get an extra challenge today. So it behooves you to challenge when you see fit. I thought that was probably a mistake that they didn't, even if you said, this is probably a 20% chance it's overturned. right? Like maybe 20%. The first replay I saw, I go, oh, that's a great catch. Phenomenal catch. Couple plays. I mean, Matt Carpenter last night had it was a horrendous night. He struck out looking 3 times, including with the bases loaded. And when he did swing, it was like a freaking light. It's like a lightsaber. Like he just didn't look ready to hit in any capacity for your designated hitter.
Now, Duran is nasty.
He's filthy.
That guy
He's absolutely filthy. A 99-mile-an-hour sinker, 101-mile-an-hour sinker.
Pitched 2 innings yesterday.
Oh, he's
not
got to be
available
out
today.
He's got to be out today.
That guy is crazy.
But like Carp arguing balls and strikes, they're right there. I mean, it's right there. It's a backdoor slider. You've seen it 1,000 times. And when he did swing, it was like Obi-Wan Kenobi up there. So they're just not. He just wasn't ready to hit last night at all. He was not on time by any stretch. Matt Carpenter taking hacks in BP yesterday. It sucked. It looks like a wet newspaper. It is. The Cronenworth AB in the 12th just murdered us. We are. And I don't look at this team and go, they're just waiting.
I thought he was on that pitch.
Oh my
and just
God,
got
I
under
did too.
it.
Again, we're talking about millimeters in wins and losses here, guys. So it was tough. Manny moved. He moved Tatis over, but that's because of Tatis. That was not because of the great AB that Manny put together. But we're not in that game without what Juan Soto and Manny Machado did to get us to a tied score. I tweeted it last night and I meant it. We have to do 14 things right, suicide squeeze to get a run in from third. They take one swing, game's tied. And it's just like, this is where they're grinding right now. Everything's a grind. So, boy, I'd love an offensive explosion at some point. I know we all would.
Well, a couple things on my end from the game last night. First of all, you can look at it as, Padres have been close in all these games. You can also look at this last week and a half as a real missed opportunity. Padres are getting consistently strong starting pitching efforts. Another quality start yesterday by Seth Lugo,
really
who allowed
nice.
2 earned runs in 6 innings. If the Padres had been hitting at all, we'd be talking about an 11-game winning streak right now.
We'd be talking about one of the best teams in baseball.
Yeah, I mean,
we really would be.
It's a missed opportunity because you're not going to get this kind of pitching all the way through the season. You're going to have runs like this, and you want to take better advantage of those runs when they come, and the Padres aren't. Yeah, they've had a winning record this month, and they're doing better than not, but it is a missed chance to have really gone on a run. You could be in first place. You could have put some distance between yourself and the Dodgers and Diamondbacks. Instead, you're sitting in third place. You haven't really made up any ground. In fact, you're losing ground to the Dodgers, who are hot right now and took 2 out of 3. So that's not good. I do think last night's game it's a cautionary tale. It's a blowback. And I'm talking to Padres fans out there who often lament the lack of small ball and the sac fly, the lay down a bunt with a runner at third. Hey, you do those things, you do those fundamental things, you can't be beat if you do those things. Well, the Padres did those things,
and they got beat.
Got the sac fly, they got the bunt, they got it down, they got the single run, and they lost the game anyway because ultimately you need the big hit.
You got to have the big hit
to win. Yeah, it's great when you get that 1-run home.
Hell yeah.
But when
Manny can't live and die like that,
Manny was up with the bases loaded in the 8th, I wasn't looking for a sac fly.
No.
I was looking for a double. I was looking for a grand slam there. Something to put the game away, stomp on the neck of the Minnesota Twins.
Agreed.
Yeah, I mean, a sac fly is a good backup plan. It's better than striking out. But ultimately, to win modern baseball games, it requires the big hit in the right situation. And it's the one thing the Padres have really failed at this year.
But the thing is, we don't score. We score 1 run without any of that small ball last night. And believe me, I'm on your team. I saw a guy asking why Cronenworth didn't bunt Tatis to third. And I just said, man, he's in scoring position. You got to trust your guys, Jake Cronenworth. At some point,
1 run doesn't win the game.
It doesn't win the game.
You saw that at the top of the 10th.
Right.
1 run doesn't win.
You got to pile on a little
You've got to
bit.
try to score a couple of runs, especially with the heartier lineup coming up.
No doubt.
2, 3, 4, 5 hitters, and it didn't work out.
Listen, I watched last night. The Tapia, I can't even Hader, Garcia, all of those guys. We're counting on those guys. Like, you're gonna have to use them. Hey, kudos to Timmy Hill again, coming in, getting big outs last night. Luis Garcia, it was one of the more excruciating innings to watch. Got the job done. Josh Hader, I mean, it's such a drag to have that runner on second, and I think I was a fan of it.
Did Bob Melvin make a mistake, though, in pulling Brett Honeywell for Tim Hill? Ultimately, the Padres were left a little shorthanded because Bob said that both Nick Martinez
was down,
as was who was the other? He had two pitchers who were down, which left them once they got to
Wilson.
the 11th, and Steven Wilson, which left them only with Domingo Tapia, who has thrown a couple of nice innings this year, but hadn't pitched since May 1st. And you can't really expect much from a reliever who's been down for 10 days.
Has he been down that long?
Yeah, he had been down since May 1st, first appearance.
Well, I mean,
at all.
It's the last guy standing, right? And I thought it was managed okay. And I thought Hader, my God, what a brilliant job he did after giving up the knock, the game tying knock, and I give you that. Coming back to get 3 Ks was pretty electric. Again,
I mean, Bob got the Padres in a situation to win, up 3-2, best pitcher on the mound in Josh Hader,
Correct.
best reliever on the mound. But there's a runner out there on second.
By the way, that's an unearned run. So the bullpen gave up 0 earned runs last night. 0.
It's a careful what you wish for, because in my head I go, all right, if the Padres can just get that runner home from second in the top of the 10th, and then Hader with 3 straight strikeouts in the bottom of the 10th,
we win.
They can win this game.
Right.
And they did. I just didn't account for the opposite field single before the 3 straight strikeouts that kept the game going.
Correct. So, but it's not, listen, I don't feel that it's dire. I don't feel it's dire. I feel like, you made the point. We are 1 swing away in every game. One swing away, one nibble, one nubber, one dying quail away in every single game.
I've got those RSIP numbers for you and I'm going to try to.
Or what about the RISP?
RISP numbers. What did I say?
You said RSIP.
RSIP.
Runners score in position.
Yes, they do.
Yes,
they do. And we'll play a little real or fake.
Other teams
next on the fan.
Pretty interesting graph here. One of the homies just shared with me. Came out yesterday. And I don't know if you saw this. It's from Swing Graphs, Benjamin. Talking about the swing paths of the best teams in baseball. So the number one team with the best swing path in baseball, the Los Angeles Dodgers. Number 2, Minnesota, Baltimore, Houston, San Francisco.
What makes a swing path good? Just stays in the hitting zone the longest amount of time, or
and they gauge the bad hit percentage. Yeah, the guys, the teams that are taking the best swings at the best pitches. San Diego's dead last. Dead last in swing path. That's pretty eye-opening. I don't know how you fix it. I don't know what exactly it means, but so bad hit percentage, we're at 64% of the swings are bad.
Never seen that particular metric before on swing paths.
So here's the interesting thing.
That's good ammunition for the fire Ryan Flaherty, get the Padres a new hitting coach crowd out there.
Here's an interesting thing, though. If you look at it, bad swing paths, San Diego's dead last. Oakland's got better. They take better swings. Washington is a little bit higher. Tampa Bay is a little bit lower. I don't understand. They're rolling. They're cruising right now.
That's a weird statistic.
Atlanta's up near the top.
Maybe it doesn't mean that much.
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't totally understand it. I'm going to need maybe Eno can explain.
Ooh, that's a
little bit about that.
That's a great idea.
And if he can't, then I'm going to throw it out the window, because if Eno doesn't understand it, then there's really no point in talking about a statistic. But speaking of the statistics, got a tweet from Andrew, says Ben Higgins, 100% wrong. We scored enough runs to win the game, but Josh Hader blew the lead. Small ball worked. Well, it didn't work. They lost the game. You can't, even with your closer out there, you can never 100% count on not getting a run home from second base. When a guy's out on second with nobody out to start an extra inning, any ground ball with eyes ties the game. And Josh Hader has many strikeouts, and he strikes out more batters per inning, I think, than just about anyone in baseball, right? I think he's had the best over the last few years strikeout rates per 9 innings. You're still going to give out. Someone's probably going to make fair contact at some point against you. And in this case, poked one right down the line, tied the game, came back, struck out the side, wasn't quite good enough. I can't put that on Josh Hader and say he failed in his job.
Right. It's an unearned run. I mean, that's why they count those as unearned, because you're all right. There's a runner on second. So you've been sucking down Camel Lights over there.
That's what happens when you have the head cold. I usually have about 5-6 days after that trying to clear it all out.
Get it all out. That's all right.
So here's when you're talking about the stat that, I compiled this and actually worked on it with my son last night. So, WRC plus, weighted runs created.
Yeah.
It's actually fairly simple stat that measures offensive efficiency. And from a team perspective, the Padres overall this year have a 101 WRC plus. So slightly 100 is average in Major League Baseball. This is weighted for all factors, so they can really really put every offensive statistic, ballpark era, everything into it. And they can say the Padres have a slightly above average offense this season. But when you put a runner at second or third in scoring position, they suddenly drop to 78, well below average and third worst in all of baseball.
Wow.
So the Padres, and that by the way, the 101 includes that 78. So when the Padres don't have a runner at second or third, when there's nobody on or a runner at first, Padres are actually well above average. So the offense is doing fine as long as they don't put a runner on second or third. And the instant that happens, they go from a top 10 or so offense to a bottom 3 offense instantly. And it's very hard to tell you what is causing that. Are these guys just unable to perform under pressure? Are they trying too hard?
Try acoustic wave therapy, maybe.
Are they? I mean, there's some possible explanations for it. Pitchers tend to, when there's a runner in scoring position, bear down a little bit. Yep. So you're going to face some nastier pitches. Guys are going to ramp up their velocity a little bit. Is it a sign that Padres have trouble with pitchers who are adding an extra mile or two to their velo because there's a runner in scoring position. It's a very difficult reason, though, to pinpoint, even for a major league coaching staff. When you look at runners in scoring position, historically, it's a number that doesn't have a lot of correlation. That it goes up and down. It fluctuates over a season, over a couple of seasons. Some guys will have a great 2 years with runners in scoring position, and the next year they don't have a very good year, and nothing changed. The same player, and there's just a lot of randomness to that stat. But so far this year, Padres have not been good at it. Last year, the Padres weren't particularly good at it either. So
yeah, that's the thing that is, I think, doming some people out, is that this is maybe who they are, right? Instead of it. Listen, I mean, I feel, my gut tells me it will even out. My gut does, because these guys are they're too good at hitters. We've seen Juan Soto battle back from the bottom of the team to the top. I mean, he's crushing the ball.
Generally, you would think teams that don't chase a lot of pitches outside the zone would be good with runners in scoring position. That's what you want as a pitcher. You want guys to swing at bad pitches. Padres are pretty good at not doing that. So that would be a point in their favor. They should be good with runners in scoring position. They're just not so far this year. And until they get some hits in big situations, it's going to be much tougher to win games. But once they do, if they go on a run, you would think the floodgates would open and this team would start dominating. But until it happens, you're going to have to prove that you're able to do it. And they have not been able to prove that they can hit with runners in scoring position. Bob Melvin gets asked about it almost every game now.
Yeah, he does.
And he kind of shrugs his shoulders. He goes, I think we're getting better, but we have a good game and then we can't do it again. And he's preaching patience. He's saying it'll come around at some point. It's not that reassuring as a fan to know that the manager doesn't really have much of a clue as to what to do either. But I think you could ask any of the other managers in baseball, and if their team was struggling with runners in scoring position, none of them would say, I know exactly what's going on with my offense. We'll fix that, because there is no fix. There's no documented, here's what you do when your team struggles with runners in scoring position, because hitting is hitting. It's still the pitcher out there. It's still the batter. He's throwing his pitches. You're trying to drive the ball. You're trying to make something good happen, whether or not there's a runner on base or not. As a batter, your job remains the same. Do something good when you're at the plate. Drive the ball. Hit it hard. Find a gap. Get a base hit. Get on base. Get a walk. It's all good. So there shouldn't be a difference when there's a runner in scoring position. So it's very hard. It's the problem that you almost don't want to have, because there's no solution for it.
Fern says we need an in-your-face batting coach. No more stupid analytics. Old school coach with Major League Baseball hitting experience, not a mediocre 213 lifetime former player. I don't know that an in-your-face guy screaming at them to hit
that could be the exact wrong
make
thing.
Them hit. I mean, it's hard to do worse with runners in scoring position. I mean, at this point, right? Like you don't have to have been a great hitter in the big leagues to be a good hitting coach. I don't know that the certainly the results aren't there right now for runners in scoring position. But like you said, you're watching up baseball after 162 games. Big hits are what this team is lacking, period. But I don't know that screaming at them and blaming analytics. I don't know that that's the right idea either, because some of the best hitting teams are very, 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 very involved in analytics, like the Los Angeles Dodgers, the Tampa Bay Rays. It's not analytics, it's execution. It's what it is. It's execution.
And I don't think it's a work ethic problem.
I don't think it's a work ethic problem either.
Padres hitters work very hard on their craft.
When I saw the thing last night, now they just don't look like they care again. And I'm like, it just doesn't happen at this level.
So they care when there's nobody on. Like they go up there, I really care a lot. But then as soon as a guy is on second or third, they just stop caring.
Right. It doesn't make
any sense.
I mean,
at all.
like Carpenter's ABs last night were terrible. It was a terrible night in the big leagues. 0 for 5. Struck out looking 3 times. It's a terrible. When he did swing, that's what it sounded like.
He's also driven in more runs than anyone on the Padres this year.
Exactly.
Is he the problem or is he the solution? Is he the guy that we point to and say, do it like Matt Carpenter? And then you look at Matt Carpenter and no one looks uglier than he does.
Yeah.
And then you say, well, don't do it like Juan Soto.
Let's not take personal shots at Matt Carpenter. I think he's handsome. I think he's a handsome fellow. But yeah, last night was not. And look, what are we doing with Rougned Odor in the lineup? Why is he on this baseball team? I don't understand. That is one where I'm like, I'm with you guys. Like, you want to talk about doom, Renobs. He has no business being on this team. None. This provides nothing. Let's spell Kim for a night. Like, I'd rather go down with my guys.
Depth has been an issue. We talked about that as well. It's one of the areas of concern for this team.
There's no reason.
Adam Engel.
What does he do well?
Just not seeing much out of the guys who are backing up the regular guys.
Correct. So look, gotta get it figured out, man.
Good teams give guys days off and can survive that and still win games.
You absolutely have to give guys days off in a 162 game season. So yeah, we'll see.
All right, need a contestant for real or fake? Call now, 833-288-0973. A chance to qualify for a trip for 2 to Las Vegas. Don't have any qualifiers yet. You don't even have to beat Woodsy today in musical trivia. It's just real or fake. 833-288-0973. A knowledge of Hollywood celebrities will help in today's game if that inspires you to call. 833-288-0973. One thing I did like about yesterday's game, I'm sure everyone did, the throw by Fernando Tatis Jr. to end the third inning, 100 miles per hour.
Very nice.
From right field to Brett Sullivan at home plate. I was surprised that Correa even went. They sent him. I thought, this ball is already at Tatis. He's going to throw this guy out. And it wasn't even a terrific throw in terms of accuracy. It was on the first base side, but still fast enough that, Brett Sullivan was able to get the tag in and make the play there.
It was a rope.
Tatis has been very fun to watch out in right field already. I was expecting actually more struggles in right field.
Knock on wood, but he's way into it and having fun out there, and that's that for him.
I mean, knock on wood, because you always say that when you tempt fate, but I don't see him regressing hugely at this point. He looks very competent out there. He's taking good routes for the most part. His throws have been good. He's made some spectacular plays as well. I like him as a right fielder, and he seems to be enjoying himself. He's got a good attitude about it out there.
That's exactly right, man. That's exactly right.
Now we just need him and Xander Bogaerts to start hitting again.
Yeah.
Tatis did have one single there. Bogaerts actually did get credited with a hit, although could have been an error on a throw by the shortstop there, but he has been struggling mightily,
man. The last 2 weeks he's been dying. What the hell was that thing on his bat? Did you guys see that?
I did. It looked like is that even
putting?
Legal?
It looked like
an attachment on the bottom of the bat.
People say that they use that on their putter to help them with the yips, but it was like this big extra cylinder made of wood that makes the bat about as thick as a boat oar. And I was like, what? But it was only for his top hand. And I'm like, is his hands hurting? Is this to help cushion the blow? Is it? I've never seen anything like it. Somebody said it looks like one of those pretzel dogs without the dog in it.
Yeah.
I said, well, that's just smart baseball. You take a hack, take a bite. Like with the pitch clock, you don't have time to get a snack anymore.
Like a toilet paper roll
but it was
on top
thicker.
of the bat. But yeah,
it was very, very
chunky though.
Yes, very chunky. It was very.
I wasn't even sure. Is that legal? It's like leaving a donut on your bat while you're swinging at the plate.
It made no sense to me.
I hadn't seen that earlier in the season. Has he always been doing that?
I have not seen it either.
Just hadn't noticed. I don't know. All right, we got plenty of people calling in now. Let's play today's game. It's time for Real or Fake.
Some are here for the compelling sports talk with Ben and Woods. You can go plow through another donut. It's time for Real or Fake on 97.3 The Fan. Tell the people what they'll win today.
Before I do that, Real or Fake brought to you by Home Turf. Save time and water with pet-friendly, always green grass, and get a free consultation by calling the team at Home Turf at 888-4SD-TURF or go to sdhometurf.com. Real or fake grass? You won't be able to tell, just like in this game. And we've got Alberto as our contestant this morning. Hello, Alberto.
Good morning, guys.
Morning, buddy.
Good
How
morning.
you doing?
All right. Do you know a lot about Hollywood celebrities here?
Here and there, I guess.
All right.
Okay.
All right. I
I
mean,
can
it's a
help
guessing
you.
game. Woodsy can help you out. So you're trying to qualify for our trip to Las Vegas. This month's prize, 2 nights at the Westgate Las Vegas and tickets to Little River Band. They garnered huge chart success with multi-platinum albums and chart-topping hits in the 70s and 80s. You can see them at the International Theater at the Westgate Las Vegas Resort and Casino on August 5th, 2023. So Time for a celebrity Mother's Day edition of Real or Fake. Alberto and Woods, I will name a celebrity duo. You tell me if they are a real mother and daughter or a fake I've thrown in to fool you.
I like it.
So we've got two celebrities, and you tell me real mother and daughter or fake. Alberto, you got it?
Yes.
All right, you need 4 out of the 7 to win. Not so hard. We go round number 1. Mother, daughter, real or fake, celebrity edition. Debbie Reynolds and Carrie Fisher. Real or fake, mother and daughter?
Oh, that's real.
That
Yes,
is
it
very
is.
real. 1
Yes,
point for Alberto. Very good. All right, round number 2. Blythe Danner and Gwyneth Paltrow. Real or fake, celebrity mother and daughter?
That's true.
That is
That's
also
real.
true. Alberto knows his celebrities.
You don't
Very good.
Find the name Blythe
No, you don't.
much anymore.
There's a town in Eastern California.
Blythe.
It's near Needles, I think. All right, 2 for 2, going really good here. Let's try round number 3. Helen Mirren and Kate Blanchett. Real or fake?
Oh, those are great actresses, but that's false.
Yes,
That is fake. Very good.
He's
3
on
for 3.
fire,
He is
man.
on fire.
Rolling.
All right, here we go. Round number 4. Lisa Bonet and Zoe Kravitz. Real or fake, Alberto? From the Cosby
that's
Show.
That's Catwoman. That's true.
Yes, it
Oh,
is.
and that is
Very
a win.
good.
Very good. Yes, Lisa Bonet was married to Lenny Kravitz for a while. And they had Zoe Kravitz.
Yep.
And that is 4 for 4. You want to keep going here, Alberto? See if you can get them all right?
Sure.
All right, let's
You already
go.
won.
Let's go. Goldie Hawn and Kate Hudson. Real or fake?
That's true.
Yeah, real.
Very good. All right, let's try Jane Mansfield and Mariska Hargitay.
True.
That is true.
My God.
Reese Witherspoon
Oh, wow.
and Keira Knightley. Real or fake?
Oh, that's fake.
Yeah, 7 for
Freaking
7.
guys, like,
Alberto.
a little bit.
Little-
What do you work for?
celebrity knowledge.
E-News
People
or something?
Magazine's editor Alberto
Yeah.
here has just
God.
qualified for the trip to Las Vegas. Congratulations, Alberto.
Hang on the line for me.
And thank you for playing. Yeah, hang on into the break, and Paulie will get all your information.
Was that Billy
Billy-
Bush on the phone or? Good Lord. Smoke that thing.
Very well done on the Celebrity Mother's Day edition of Real or Fake. All right, what do we have on the today's Don't Do This edition?
How about more audio of another misspeak that has landed another host in some hot water? It's
Ouch.
been a theme this week.
All right, that's coming up next with Ben and Woods. We'll be right back after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
Don't do this.
I got a little surprise for you, you know what I'm saying?
Don't do this.
Listen, if I've said something bad, I mean, tell me I'm a bad boy. Just tell me I'm a bad boy.
Why? Just why?
I get the argument. You don't have to explain it to me. I'm not a moron.
Let me tell you why I am a dumbass.
It's time for Don't Do This.
Don't do this.
On 97.3 The Fan.
All guests on Ben Woods appear on the Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad Fan Hotline. Save money the right way with Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad. Visit them today in the Carlsbad Auto Mall. Chevrolet, find new roads. We're less than 2 hours away from Padres pregame this morning from Minnesota.
Love that.
Going for the series win. And then we'll all be happy again tomorrow. Oh, yeah, solid series win. I mean, Minnesota, first place team, probably going to make the playoffs.
If we lose, though.
Team's going well. Everything's fine.
Woo, if we
Or
lose.
they'll lose. And the season's a
over.
disaster.
It's over.
Every single game. How did we turn into football fans?
We did, though.
During a baseball season.
You gotta keep it baseball.
I'll start with a pretty gnarly story in the other kind of football, the international kind of football, soccer, that is just percolating today involving a gambling scandal. The Colorado Rapids have suspended winger Max Alvis in connection with an alleged unlawful sports gambling scheme, according to ESPN. Now, the Rapids didn't identify the player. They did say, we're aware of the reports regarding a player in connection with unlawful sports gambling. We take matters of this nature seriously, seek to protect the integrity of the game. So apparently, and this investigation stems with a big scheme in Brazil where 16 people have been charged, including 7 soccer players, with match fixing. But they're accusing Max Alvis of basically intentionally taking a yellow card. Gamblers paid him $12,000, according to this report that this Brazilian outlet uncovered. $12,000 to get a yellow card in a match against the LA Galaxy on September 17th of last year.
So you're saying that I can bet on who gets a yellow card?
It's like a prop bet in a soccer game. Yeah, will this player receive a yellow card in the match? So he went in as a substitute, and within 90 seconds, not sure what he did, like a slide tackle or something, like a dangerous tackle, and then picked up a yellow card from the referees right away. Then, bet one down there in Brazil, whoever was putting money on it. It's kind of interesting because, I mean, they could have an impact on the game. Obviously, giving the other team maybe a free kick at midfield, but it's soccer. Very easy to get lost in the, the run of play of a, 2-1 game or whatever it is. Oh, yeah, guy got a yellow card. A very sneaky way to fix a match for a gambler that's not like, oh, yeah, you need to give up 3 goals here, goalkeeper, because we're going to. All right, well, that looks suspicious. Why didn't you try to stop that shot that was coming right at you? What do you mean I didn't try to stop it? But taking a yellow card, those happen all the time. It's forgotten. 20 seconds later, they move on. And apparently this is a scheme that is being investigated in Brazil.
Yeah, that's not good. Seems like an easy one to, like you said, an easy one to throw.
I mean, you can do that there are prop bets in every other sport. Prop bets in football or baseball.
I've never seen penalties though. Like I've never seen hey, you can bet on so-and-so to get a holding. You see like walks, strikeouts, baseball. Baseball would be a little tough to do. You can't bet on failure really in baseball.
Yeah, but I mean, you could bet on a field goal kicker. Is he going to miss a field goal in the game today? I mean,
That's
they
true.
have in games like that where
it's wild.
Wouldn't be that suspicious if it happened.
So yesterday on the Colin Cowherd show, talking about Chicago.
More like
and
cow turd.
Yes, more like cow turd. They were talking about Chicago, and Colin's not in the crosshairs here. This is his little buddy.
Talking about like favorite places or places you would want to live.
And this is what Jason Little Buddy McIntyre said about Chicago.
There's just so much to do out here.
Give me your top 3 cities you want to live in America right now.
Well, Chicago's unbelievable city.
Chicago?
Oh, I got a beach right at the city.
It's like a war zone right now. It's like Afghanistan.
No, it's
Are you kidding me?
No, Chicago's great.
Like some. All right. Anyways, so Chicago's in your top 3. Who else?
Chicago.
He got summarily dragged by the citizens of Chicago, and also he tweeted, "I haven't been there in 15 years." It's like, well, do they have some issues in certain parts of Chicago? Absolutely. Do they have some issues in certain parts of San Diego? Yeah, they do. They have some issues in parts of Los Angeles, San Francisco, New York. Yeah, absolutely. Would it stop any of us from living in any one of those cities? Not me, at least. I can only speak for myself. All those, some of the best cities in the country. I have a great affinity for Chicago. In fact, I'm taking my 5-year-old son, to said war zone in a few months, and looking very forward to it, and know we will have a great time. And I know, here's what I do know. It won't be like Afghanistan. And I think that's a bit of a slap in the face to people that actually know what Afghanistan looks like.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So he got dragged pretty good for that one yesterday.
You know, the funny thing
a little
is,
propaganda for you.
There's probably a lot of people in Afghanistan who say, hey, you know, where I live, it's actually pretty nice.
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
You know, every place in the world has, you know, some better spots, some not so good spots. And not to get overly political here, I know all the stations are covering the border, the change in the rules that's happening today. And there's many migrants who are on the other side of the border, you know, wanting to get into the United States, because of course they do. Most of them, you know, are looking for better lives for their families. And while I think there is certainly room for debate about, you know, safe and good border policy, and you can have many different opinions on the subject, it's always important to remember that these are all people, you know,
right?
They're real human beings, most of them who are absolutely just looking for better opportunities and better lives for their kids and their families.
100%.
And you have to always remember that you're talking about human beings first, and not an invasion, not a crisis. They're human beings. And yeah, I mean, you can't just let everyone who wants to come into the country at any moment enter the United States. You have to have immigration policies and things like that. But don't forget, we're dealing with people, not some sort of, you know, like ant infestation. That's, people oftentimes start using terminology like that. That's wrong. All right, finally, a little a little update.
DD mega doo-doo.
UT yesterday, and this is good news on Padres coach Matt Williams, who of course was going to be the third base coach for the Padres, but was diagnosed with cancer earlier this year. He has been undergoing chemotherapy, had his first intravenous chemo treatment, is taking daily oral chemotherapy tablets, and could be back. He's with the team on the road trip and could be back coaching third base in the next couple of weeks. It's colon cancer, but they say they got it in the surgery.
Good.
And this is just to make sure that, you know, they don't miss any cells or anything. So they do the chemo, but if he handles it well, and he says, you know, it can build on itself, and he'll see how he feels after the next treatment, could be back in the third base coach's box for the Padres in the next couple of weeks.
It's very, very good news. We've got a lineup out, fellas, and it's not.
Oh, we've got a lineup.
It's not great.
It's a day game after a night game sort of lineup.
It's something.
It's a 162 game season.
I don't
can't play your starters every single day of every single game.
I'm not the big get real super pissy about lineups, but this one makes me a little pissy. I'm going to be
I haven't
honest.
seen it yet, so I'm curious.
Right there with you.
I'm not moving to Pity City, but I am visiting Pity City right now.
All right, that's a good tease. I can't wait to hear it.
Guess who's in the lineup again?
Well, I know who's definitely in the lineup based on your reaction. His initials are RO.
Smells. I don't like this.
All right, we'll come back with the lineup.
What's going on
for the Padres game?
He just tweeted me, "Stop playing Odor." I'm not, Kevin. Kevin, I would never.
Do me a favor. Text Bob.
All right, hang on. What the hell's going on?
Yeah, text AJ Prettler. I mean,
I know AJ.
You know,
yeah,
you're the manager. You got to play the players that are on your team.
Yeah.
That's coming up next.
Right now.
With Better Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.
Why are we doing this? He'll get 3 knocks today. I'll eat a hat tomorrow if he does. Just FYI. If he gets 3 hits today, I'll eat a hat live at AleSmith.
All right, we've got a lineup already in for today's series finale. Wood seems unhappy. Oh, I'm going to prod him with a couple of questions after he goes through the order here.
Okay. You ready?
Yeah.
Tatis Jr. in right field leading off. Jake Cronenworth playing first. Batting second. Manny Machado off his feet, the DH today. Juan Soto in left, batting in the cleanup spot. You got Xander Bogaerts in the 5
So
hole.
same top 5 that we've seen the last couple of days.
Yeah, you got Grisham in the 6 playing center field. You got Hassan Kim going to be manning the hot corner back in the lineup today. Then you get Rugi Odor in the 8 and Austin Nola in the 9. Probably, the Nola thing makes sense to me after Sully caught last night. It's kind of flip-flop.
There's only one thing you're unhappy with.
Rugi. I just don't understand. I don't understand.
So what would you do instead? Let's say Manny, you want to get him off his feet. There's no argument against that.
None whatsoever.
At some point, you got to get these guys off their feet.
Which
still get them in the lineup.
Which takes Nelly Cruz really out of the equation.
Right.
So
your only other option really is shifting Jake over to second and playing Matt Carpenter at first.
Yeah.
Which you could have done.
But after these last night, I mean, I feel better. You guys all feel better having Carpenter in the lineup than Rugi Odor. I don't know. I don't know what the fascination. I mean, he can pick it a little bit, certainly, but I don't know, man.
It's a better defensive lineup than
Carp and Crony
Carp
at second.
being out there, probably.
I think so
with
too.
Odor and Crony.
Jake's really played well at first. He really has. He was on base last night 4 times in that 2-hole. Nobody really driving him in, but it just, I don't know. It's a bummer. The guy's hitting, not hitting at all.
Craig, our friend Craig Elston pointed out, look at that Ofer in the 8-9 hole, and you'll see why the Padres have struggled to find consistency on offense. And it is something. You always look to your stars and you say, well, Xander Bogaerts is going to hit the skids a little bit. Tatis has only gotten 1 hit in this series. So even though Soto's heating up and Jake Cronenworth got on base, you do need more than one guy in order to kind of put together a lineup. But sometimes it's not about the guys who are hitting 240, jumping up to 290. Sometimes it's the guys who are hitting 150
or
jumping up to 200
or 100 up to 120.
Just having your lower lineup players just got to be more kind of average or just slightly below average.
It's really what it is.
Just as valuable as taking your average players and turning them into good players. It actually does just as much for your lineup. If the guy who is hitting 8 increases his average from 150 to 210, 60 points, it does really just as much as the guy who was hitting 270, now hitting 330, which looks really good. Like, oh my God, this guy's amazing. He's hitting 330. This guy sucks. He's only hitting 220. Yeah. Well, he was hitting 150. So that improvement's actually more valuable to the Padres. So they need to get more just average production, like replacement value production out of the bottom of their lineup. They don't need superstars. They need just replaceable average baseball players on offense at the bottom of their lineup.
Should be a fun one, as Bailey Ober is one of the Twins' best young pitchers. You seen his numbers this year?
Yeah, he's been very good.
He's 2-0. His ERA is 0.98. Started 3 games. He's gone 18 innings. Struck out 16 in 18 innings. So
that's 3. I mean, he's due for. Everyone has a bad one. Okay, every once in a while. Darvish on the mound for the Padres.
Yep, love that. Used
throwing well as always. Yep. Get through that first inning for you is usually the most. The nervous inning for you is the first inning, and then settles in, and you can count on 6-7 strong generally from you, Darvish. My prediction: they will have a chance to win this game.
That's been pretty standard lately. Yeah, we opened the show by basically saying not getting run out of the gym by any stretch. And I don't know, does that make it harder? Does that make it harder that you're a swing away every game and just not there? And I mean, look, I don't like watching Padre games where they lose 9-1. I don't. Sometimes you're like, this is death by paper cut watching this team lose 2-1, 3-1, 3-2. Sometimes you're like, all right, and I can go out and hit golf balls now because they're down 9-1 in the 4th. I don't want that by any stretch. I want to win this series today. You're going to have to grind out hard to do it. Ober's really good. But the thing I was reading about Bailey Ober too, he is actually, with those numbers, he's a bit more of a finesse guy than he is just a raw stuff guy. Like he's not going to come in and anything blow you away. So I do like our chances today.
I do. I'd like to see Fernando Tatis Jr. He had a couple of hangers, I thought, yesterday that he just swung right through that I thought he was going to absolutely murder, like 470 feet. And yeah, they need Tatis to do a little bit of damage. Obviously, Soto is now hot. That's
keep that
obvious.
rolling, man. Keep that rolling. And if the bottom of the order can do, honestly, if Nola can continue to do what he's done the last couple nights, helping the team stay in it.
Hey, Austin Nola drove in Rougned Odor with 1/3 of the runs in the game yesterday for the Padres on a suicide squeeze.
Very true. If he gets 3 hits today, Odor, I will eat a hat tomorrow.
All right, we're going to check traffic. And then speaking of Ben's predictions, I was dead on. I wonder if my co-host took my advice and won any money last night.
Not a gambler.
We'll get to that after a check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the Premier Cadillac of Carlsbad Traffic Center, part of the Premier Auto family, here's Kelly Danek.
Traffic is sponsored by the all-new Premier Cadillac of Carlsbad. Just one accident to let you know about. Westbound at 54, right at the northbound 5 connector. Those cars are over to the right shoulder. Brought to you by Premier Cadillac of Carlsbad with brand new 2023 Cadillac XT4s and XT5s in stock now. Stop in or shop online at CadillacCarlsbad.com, a proud member of the Premier Carlsbad family of dealers. I'm Kelly Danek with Ben & Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
This hour on 97.3 The Fan brought to you by U.S. Army Salute Fest. Win a trip for 2 to Miami Beach for the U.S. Army Salute Fest, the most amazing Memorial Day weekend experience ever. This one-of-a-kind event includes the hottest names in music and a large showcase of top U.S. Army technology. Register now at usasalute.com and use the promo code KWFN. Yeah, we had the Lakers as 7.5-point underdogs last night. I told you, I think the Warriors are going to cover, and they did by double. They won by 15 points last night in Game 5 to keep their Western Conference semifinal series alive at 3-2. And interestingly, Anthony Davis had to leave the game.
Did he leave in a wheelchair?
That's the report was that he was taken out in a wheelchair. Now, we never saw him in the wheelchair. He walked off the court and then walked to the locker room.
I had no idea what happened, and I woke up and saw a video of Shaq and Charles Barkley.
They laughing at him.
They couldn't stop laughing.
Oh no!
At I guess the thought of him in a wheelchair. I'm trying to find the video.
Who was the famous? Was it Paul Pierce who came in the wheelchair and then came back to play the Boston Celtics in the NBA Finals? Yeah, I mean the concern. He took an elbow to the head.
Okay,
concussion. And the concern is a concussion, and if he's ruled out, it changes the series entirely for the Lakers. They still are in control with Game 6 at home tomorrow night. But if they have to play without Anthony Davis, who has been the most dominating force in this series and the one guy that the Warriors really don't have an answer for, all of a sudden the Warriors are probably thinking, we should win these next 2 games then, and we should take this series in come-from-behind fashion. If AD comes back and plays tomorrow, plays like he has, Lakers get, they didn't get the free throw calls that they had gotten in the first 4 games of the series yesterday, but they'll get them at home. I like the Lakers' chances pretty solidly tomorrow night if Anthony Davis is playing. If not, all bets are off in this series.
Yeah, I mean, that's what's the other series at?
Also 3-2. The Knicks won.
Alive.
They beat the Heat to stay alive. Only 5% of teams come back from 3-1 deficits. Like 95% of teams go ahead and win those series. So, the expectation is the Heat and the Lakers will close it out. But every once in a while, 1 out of every 20 times, a team gets down 1-3. They do win 3 in a row and come back. Will the Warriors do it? Will the Knicks do it? They've gotten 1 of the first 3 done.
Here's the NBA crew on TNT late last night.
They've been inconsistent all year. They haven't been able to string together games that you go, this is a game.
If you're not able to see it, Shaq is holding a cup of water up to his mouth to keep himself alive.
And they should win. This is how they should get it done.
Chuck's not even hiding it.
Game 6, these guys.
You hear him?
I know what they're about. I think I do too, but what are you laughing about? You know what they're laughing about. I'm laughing at Chuck. I know what they're laughing at. You understand? Shaq is over there crumbling up paper. That's why I was laughing. That's not what I'm laughing at Chuck. Tell the truth. They understand. Oh, man. Stop it, man. Stop it. Ernie, don't let us go
Shaq
there.
is
If we
crying.
go there, it'll never stop.
If he's hit in the head and he's concussed, well, yeah, like that makes sense.
He's a really tall guy. You don't want him stumbling around,
Falling,
and falling, and
yeah.
injuring something else at the same time. A wheelchair. There's nothing wrong with a wheelchair.
Well, no, they use them to wheel people that need it that can't walk. If he's concussed, like when they laugh if they brought him out on a stretcher, you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
look how soft he is. He's on a stretcher. If it's concussion, concussion's different. It's different than I tweaked my knee or my hammy or something else. It's like he's concussed.
I broke my back.
Right, break your back. Spinal.
Then you might need a stretcher. So, game 6 is tomorrow in LA. I think you have to remember the Warriors were horrifically bad on the road all season long. They need to win a game in Los Angeles to keep this series going. Now, they got a couple in Sacramento in the first round. And in fact, I think they have some incredible streak of series in which they've won at least one road game. But will they do it tomorrow? My thinking is not, that they don't get it done. Got the other 2 series resuming tonight again. You've got the Suns and the Nuggets, with the Nuggets trying to close it out on the road. They're up 3-2 in that series. And then the Sixers and the Celtics. The Sixers a chance to close it out at home with a 3-2 series lead over the Boston Celtics.
That would be a pretty decent upset, no?
It would be an upset.
Yeah.
I mean, the Celtics were the favorites at one point there, so for sure. Also got an update here on a story you guys were talking about when I was gone, the MLS to San Diego rumors and how it impacts the San Diego Loyal. Yesterday, the Loyal issued a statement on social media, and it certainly sounds as though they are resigned to the fact that the MLS is coming to town.
Not only that, but
the way they phrased it and the timing and everything, it sounds like they're saying, we know this is happening and here's our plan.
They're doing this. They're going to be doing this on their own. They're going to be staying. They're going to be staying solo.
Here's what their chairman and owner, Andrew Vasiliadis, had to say. Dear San Diego, we want to take a moment to express our deepest gratitude for your unwavering support over the past 4 years. You've made our dream of bringing professional soccer to San Diego a reality. Together, we've created a community of fans, families, players, and civic leaders who bleed Tory green. Your memories at our games, photos with our players, pride in wearing our crest in the stands have been the lifeblood of our success, and we are humbled by your loyalty. We have become aware of an independent ownership group that intends to launch their own club in San Diego. Our unwavering commitment is to the vision of growing soccer in this city, and we want to make that abundantly clear. Landon Donovan, the entire San Diego Loyal team, and I are dedicated to this mission, and we will continue to work tirelessly to achieve it. Our passion for soccer and for our community will never falter. San Diego, we are one with you. Our love for this city runs deep. This is our home. We are proud to be part of its rich and diverse fabric. Our plan is simple. We aren't going anywhere. #stay loyal.
There you go. I mean, and that was really the question Paulie and I posed when you were out the other day is, can both entities coexist? And, I think the Loyal has built a big enough fan base to where it sounds like they're going to at least give it a go, but from my understanding right now, there isn't going to be any blending of the two.
But also I thought, it doesn't sound like they're going to take an us versus them tactic, because they say they want to grow soccer in San Diego.
Sure.
MLS to San Diego absolutely grows soccer in this town by a huge margin. Having the top level soccer in this country coming to San Diego, that's growing soccer San Diego. So
it's kind of hard not to. It's kind of hard if you're hardline Loyal.
I mean, they've been very supportive of the Wave. The Wave has been supportive of the Loyal. It's not as though fans are any different. Fans go to both Wave and Loyal games. Why couldn't they both go to whatever the MLS team and Loyal and Wave games?
Support them all.
It's a lot of games.
The seasons run alongside each other.
Yeah, but so do the Wave and the Loyal seasons.
What are the odds that the majority of the games are on the same night?
Probably occasionally it'll happen.
Maybe every once in a while.
Sure. Yeah, it's a lot. I know a lot of people can't go to 3 soccer home games a week, and you're going to have to make some decisions.
Yeah.
But there's no reason why people can't. I mean, if they exist, I will be cheering for the MLS team. I will be cheering for the Loyal to do well. I will be cheering for the Wave to do well. I won't have time to go to many of those games. I already don't have time to go to a lot of the games, but I want them to do well, and I'm glad they exist, and I'm glad there are passionate fans that exist for these teams. So ultimately, it's a good thing, right?
I'm certainly not going to blame supporters of the Loyal for saying I'm not interested in this. I want to stay with the club that I'm loyal to. I have no problem with that, none whatsoever. And it's
I just don't know because
for me it's pretty.
I don't know enough about the politics of soccer and MLS and all that, and there is a lot, and I am so ignorant to all of that because to the casual, I'm like, why can't we just support both, right?
Yeah. That's
I understand that there's a lot more to it.
It's a Throwback Thursday. Does anybody remember the Red Hot Chili Pipers? Coming up next on 97.3 The Fan.
All right, we're 2/3 of the way home right now, right?
Hey, I like that.
I like that too. It's been in Woods 97.3 The Fan.
They haven't seen Sam Levitt yet. He's here hours
have
before
you?
the game.
Yeah, he's walking around.
All right. Of course he is. Guys, super prepared. Padres and pancakes. The what time's first pitch?
10:10.
I really screwed myself. Told my wife I was going to pick the kids up a little early from school, take them to lunch, and take them home to nap. So now I'm going to have to do maybe I'll just go get them right after the show. Right? Quickly, maybe take them to breakfast.
And the activity will then be watching the game together.
Correct. It's a really good idea. I'm Woodsy. That's Paul Reindl, executive producer. Benjamin Higgins joins us as well. Talking a little Padres and pancakes actually sounds like a good idea. Maybe I take the boys out for some pancakes this morning. And by pancakes, I mean French toast. Right?
But not French toast sticks.
No, I do not eat French. I informed Ben yesterday that I'm repulsed by French toast sticks. I don't know why.
Like French toast.
I love French toast.
If you cut it in stick form.
I do not. Does that make any sense whatsoever?
Yeah, it does. It's a different product.
It's repulsive.
French toast sticks are a little more fried, whereas French toast is more of a griddled, battered product.
Yeah,
that you eat with a fork. Put syrup on. I mean, you can dip the French toast sticks in syrup.
I guess I don't like eating French toast with my hands.
There you go.
Does that make sense? Yeah.
Fine.
So
some people love French toast sticks.
I'll pass,
but not Woods.
Not me.
Oh,
how you guys doing?
Better than Bo Jackson.
Explain what is going on with,
I don't
with
really
Bo
know.
Jackson
I saw the
right
story
now.
yesterday. Apparently he's got the hiccups, which we all get the hiccups. But Bo Jackson, legendary football running back, says he's had the hiccups since July.
That can't be.
What?
July.
It can't be. He's going on a year of the hiccups.
Yeah, we're getting solidly close to the 1-year anniversary of the hiccups. 60-year-old was doing a radio show when he revealed that he was not at an Auburn event, Frank Thomas getting a baseball statue outside of the stadium, because he's been dealing with the hiccups. He says, I've had the hiccups since last July.
That can't be, man.
Said, I've done everything. Scare me, drink water upside down.
Scare me.
Smelling butt of a porcupine.
Excuse me?
He said he tried that. I don't know if that's a...
Did he say smelling butt?
No, he said...
Read it what he said.
Smelling ass of a porcupine. Doesn't work.
You smell
maybe in the
porcupine's
South.
butt?
Maybe in the South. That's a...
Never...
It's a local hiccups
Get over
remedy.
here. Come here, little guy. That would be terrifying.
Yeah.
I found one recently that works for me.
I've always had one.
What's
that works
yours?
for me? I take a glass of water and you tilt your mouth on the far end, and you drink, let it dribble in your mouth, and it works. It works every time.
Mine is somewhat similar. That's been working. Patty at the Regal Seagull taught this one to me. Take a straw and then put it like the wide way in your mouth, like a pencil or a straw,
okay,
and then try to slowly drink water without spilling it. But the same way, it's that very slow, concentrating drinking. I think it kind of distracts you and helps you relax your muscles because you're swallowing water at the same time. But I found it to be very effective at remedying my hiccups when I get them.
Why would someone have hiccups for, let's see, July, August, September, October,
I guess it's
November,
medical. He
December?
said he was getting a procedure done. I mean, he didn't get into a lot
10
of
months?
the details of what it was.
When my wife gets them, you guys, they're like this. I'm not kidding. So quiet. We'll be sitting there watching TV, and all of a sudden you'll hear this. I'm like, oh my, I can make it through about 3. And I'm like, hey, are you good? My kids get them, and I try to scare them. The scaring thing doesn't work. That's a myth. You can't scare hiccups away, in my opinion. I've never seen it be successful. Right? Have you guys? That one doesn't work.
Not really.
I don't. That's like off. That's an awful affliction. If that's ever happened to anybody, you can call 833-288-0973.
Chronic hiccups are, I guess, a medical concern. It can be caused by some nerve damage. Possibly.
Poor guy, dude. Come
That
on.
sounds awful.
Zone says try a spoonful of peanut butter. Yeah, I bet that would work.
Even if it doesn't, hey,
It's delicious.
willing to give it a try.
Some people say eat a whole pizza and then you'll be fine. What are you doing? You have no
Followed
care for
by
your
a
body?
Hot fudge sundae.
Babe, why are you eating a hot fudge sundae at 11 a.m.? You don't see I'm trying to get rid of my hiccups here. That's fantastic. Yeah, I feel bad for Bo Jackson. That's terrible.
That is unfortunate.
Let's do our one of my favorite Throwback Thursdays.
Yeah, this one's a good one
that we've ever had.
Is this from 2 years ago? I want to say,
This
or
would be,
last year?
Yes,
last year.
Last year
Okay.
tomorrow.
So I was texting this week actually with our former Padre buddy Brian O'Grady, who is off in he's playing baseball in Korea. And I asked him, man, how you doing? How's everything going? And he said, man, my swing was totally jacked at the beginning of the year. He said they sent me down to clear my head a little bit. He goes, then he had COVID for a couple of days. He said, swing is feeling good, locked in, playing one more minor league game, then going back with the big team. He said, but I am missing Mila and Delaney terribly. He said, terribly. He said, her first birthday is Thursday, which is today. Happy birthday. That's killing me that I'll miss it. Plan for them is to come out in the beginning of June. And then he said, how are you guys doing? And I told him, you know, everything's going well here, man. Just keep your head up. You know, he's such a good human being and a good friend of the program. And I can't even imagine, dude, missing, you know, the first birthday and you're away playing ball and you're trying to earn money for your family. The guy's out there grinding it out. And by the way, it's not going well too. So not only do you miss the crap out of your family, you're not playing well. You're still getting paid.
It's got to be rough.
It's just got to be so, and you're in a foreign country.
Because you feel like you should be dominating at this level, but it's hitting. It doesn't work that way.
I just feel so bad for him. So if you keep a good thought for our pal Brian O'Grady. But yeah, a year ago we were wishing his daughter, we were trying to wish his daughter a very first happy birthday as she came into the world.
A zero birthday.
Yeah. We are halfway home on a Thursday here on Ben and Woods this morning, and wanted to take this opportunity to welcome to the world.
Go.
Little Mila O'Grady, who has made it. What in the world is this?
Paul didn't listen all the way through, apparently, to this
is this
poignant Irish song.
It's Avicii. This is that can you redo and find a nice, sweet Irish blessing song?
What is the name of this band that you picked for us here?
What was that song?
You told me with about 10 seconds before we were back from commercial break, hey, Paul, I come back with some
bagpipes.
Irish
Yeah,
music
nice
or something.
bagpipes
I'm
or
like,
something like that, yeah.
okay, bagpipes. I'm scrambling, and this was the first thing that popped up.
That was freaking.
It was
Wake Me Up.
Yeah, by Avicii.
Yeah, they also have Wake Me Up.
Let's just do it. He picked a band called the Red Hot Chili Pipers for our tribute. Just find an old Irish. God, genius. We blew this whole thing.
They're a bagpipe band called the Red Hot Chili Pipers.
Hold on.
That's genius. Sorry, I'm good. I'm good now. This is not my. This is the Brian O'Grady segment. This is not my segment.
Mila O'Grady, you got great parents there, and I'll read you a little Irish blessing to bring it in for you. A newborn babe. This is where I need some music, Paul. Give me some of that Red Hot Chili Pipers again.
Bagpipes more Scottish than
I don't know.
Those are great.
A newborn babe brings light to the house, warmth to the hearth. And joy to the soul. Wouldn't you think that if you're the Red Hot Chili Peppers, you would only play Red Hot Chili Peppers music?
Yeah, but I mean, I think they were just going after the name. They were looking for a band that had something that sounded like Pipers in the name, and really Peppers was the only thing that they could come up with.
So they're like, I don't want to be pigeonholed into just doing Red Hot. I want to be able to do Avicii, and I
Right.
want to be able to do CNC Music
It
Factory
could
as
have gone
well.
with like the Stone Temple Pipers.
Yeah,
or something,
Stone Temple
but
Pipers would be
I don't think
great.
it works as well as Red Hot Chili Pipers.
One of my favorite moments, man. I hope he starts mashing and get some knocks over there for the what is he? The Cebu Lions. Yeah. So great, dude. Happy birthday, Mila O'Grady. No Irish blessing this year.
Speaking of Irish music and odd performances, I just got this email just now, actually, in my inbox. So Major League Rugby again.
Major League Rugby.
Rugby.
Whoa, Rugby.
The San Diego Legion are doing great. I think they're 10-1, probably favorites to reach the championship final this year, which is coming up in July in Chicago. And I just got an email. They announced the performers, the concert performers for the big final game, which will be nationally televised. The pregame, the postgame concerts by the Dropkick Murphys.
Amazing.
They are Irish, right? Aren't they?
Yeah.
And then the pregame concert is going to be DJ Diesel, otherwise known as Shaquille O'Neal.
Yes.
Is going to be performing at the Major League Rugby Championship Final.
That's pretty awesome.
In July.
Is he a good DJ? He's a rapper. I knew that.
Yeah, but he's actually scored a gig at a major sporting event.
That's pretty cool.
So he'll be out there in July. Shaq is everywhere.
What is his name?
DJ Diesel.
DJ
Diesel.
All right.
Pre-game concert featuring DJ Diesel. Then the MLR Championship Final live on Fox and the Rugby Network. And then a post-game concert featuring Dropkick Murphys.
I would like to go to a Legion game at some point. I would. I say that a lot, but the weekends
they play at
pretty
Snapdragon
crazy.
Stadium as well
Play at the
now.
Snap. Yep.
Starting to get busy there. You got concerts, you got the Legion, you got obviously the Aztecs, the Wave, and
MLS coming.
likely the MLS coming as well.
And they're going to be doing some remodeling, some adding of canopies is what I
mean,
heard.
they talk about that. I don't know for sure that that's going to happen, but the idea was if an MLS team wanted to come and play a lot of day games in the summer, that you might want some shade.
Yeah.
Remember how hot it got in that first day game for the Aztecs in September. That could be an issue, but they also said a lot of West Coast games in MLS are night games anyway, and it's San Diego. It's not like we have the worst climate in the world here. So I don't know if they'll end up. It would be costing $50 million or something like that to
for
add canopies. Yeah,
good God, I need to be in the canopy business. I'm in the wrong business.
Pop-up tents. So that it is something.
$50 million for canopies.
It was the Wave coach was asked yesterday. Are you worried about like the dates are getting crowded? They're going to have to schedule all these summer soccer games and Legion games all at the same time, that they don't want to get aced out on the good days, the Saturday nights and things like that. And she said, well, we have to keep an eye on that because it's important that we want to make sure that we're able to play our schedule. But an MLS team is also going to want to, have some premium dates. I guess it's up to JD Wicker and his team now.
Yeah.
To figure out, because concerts generally those happen on Saturday nights as well. They're gonna have to figure out a way to make everybody happy now that they're starting to fill up Snapdragon Stadium with a bunch of new tenants.
That's wild. That's wild.
Yeah.
I can't get my head around $50 million for canopies. I'm resigning my post here as president of Ben Woods, and I'm going into the canopy business. Woodsy's Canopies. You know how much they cost? $50 million. Sign up today. Maybe I'll have you do live reads for me.
These are like, these giant,
I understand.
sale type
$50
things
million.
with big,
I get
supporting
it.
arms. It's not just
I feel like
the
it's
canopy.
I feel like it's marked up way high.
This, construction material costs.
All right. Well, I don't know clearly enough about canopies, but I didn't know that there was that kind of money in canopies. So let's take a little break.
All right, we got Eno coming up at the bottom of the hour. Some smart baseball. We'll talk more about the Padres hitting woes with runners in scoring position. And we will get back to our baseball talk, all coming up with Ben and Woods. Don't go away. It's San Diego's #1 sports station. Let's check traffic right now on 97.3 The Fan. You could win a trip to see Guns N' Roses, the real Guns N' Roses, not a bagpipe rendition of Guns N' Roses, at a U.S. stop of your choice.
Funds and Roses.
On the 2023 World Tour, including round-trip airfare, hotel tickets, and a $200 gift card. Just go to 973thefan.sd.com/GNR to enter for a chance to win in this national contest. Tickets are on sale now at livenation.com. And don't forget, we're at AleSmith tomorrow. I feel like we have not mentioned that enough today, but we would love to see all the Tier 1s out tomorrow for our live broadcast starting at 6 a.m. Give you some more details in a minute. We got Eno Saris in the bottom of the hour segment, but the Padres did reveal their starting rotation for the Dodgers series coming up here, Woodsy. It's going to be, well, just continuing the order of pitchers that they have had. It's Blake Snell, Joe Musgrove, and Michael Wacha.
Thought I missed something, and you were gonna be like, "Yeah, Darvish is actually not going to pitch today because it's such a big series." And
nothing unusual here. Darvish today, and then Snell, Musgrove, Wacha this weekend in Los Angeles against the Dodgers.
Okay.
And then Ryan Weathers may or may not be called up to face the Kansas City Royals. Bob Melvin's going to see how his pitching staff is handling the 4-day rest thing without going to the 6-man, or if they feel like they want to stick someone in there for a day to give everybody an extra day of rest, then Ryan Weathers could be called up to make a start against the Royals next week.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see. 9 straight, right? They played 9 straight.
Yeah, without a day off.
Okay.
Which is not an insane number for baseball.
Open the season with 25 and 26.
Yeah.
So, or 24 and 25. So, yeah, it will be interesting if you're Ryan Weathers, kind of waiting on pins and needles to see. I think that would be a nice landing. Like, that's a nice ease back into the big leagues against Kansas City Royals. But, yeah, we'll see what happens. But the pitching has been great. I mean, they really have. They have really.
I was trying to think, when was the last time we got a bad start from the starting
Joe
pitcher?
Musgrove in Mexico City,
Right,
I think.
that's it.
Really.
And that is, you know.
And Darvish didn't have a quality
major
start
asterisk.
the next day because he gave up 4 runs, but he actually bounced back and for Mexico City. He pitched actually quite well in that game. And since then, I think everything, barring 1 or 2, have been a quality start. And one of those was Joe giving up no earned runs, 1 unearned run in 5 innings in his start. So the starting pitching has been outstanding.
It really has. Today, I'm a little concerned. Obviously, bullpen wise, you got to imagine Luis Garcia and Tim Hill are probably down. Wilson will be back. Nick Martinez will be back, which is he's so valuable.
And Darvish tends to give you length.
He
so
does
that's good.
tend to give you length. Knock on wood there. Brent Honeywell only threw 8
and
pitches
you probably
last
could
night.
go to Hader since you only did 1 inning for him yesterday, and he didn't have to pitch in the first game on Tuesday.
Right.
So you still have Hader possibly for a save if necessary.
Yeah, so actually it does line up pretty good with Martinez, Hader, Honeywell available. Steven Wilson's going to be available as well. So you got some big guns there. So yeah, man, I mean, if you could scratch out some runs early off Bailey Ober, that would certainly be nice and put everybody's mind at rest. And got to get it going, man. Got to get it going. Got to get it going now. Got to win this series.
A couple other baseball notes from yesterday. Big series win for the Baltimore Orioles to beat the Tampa Bay Rays 2-1 to take 2 out of 3 in
That's
an early
amazing.
season AL East leading showdown. Now, the Rays still lead the division comfortably, but Orioles picked up a game on the series there. You had the Marlins setting an MLB record. They're now 12-0 in 1-run games. That's the best ever start.
That's
they
incredible.
Have won every single close game they've played under Skip Schumacher. Helped the Padres out by beating the Diamondbacks 5-4. Clayton Kershaw got a 6th win of the season. That's an NL best. Dodgers over the Brewers 8-1. Jurickson Profar had the go-ahead single a day after 2 home runs.
Oh, he's
Rockies
heating up.
over the slumping Pirates 4-3. And a milestone, Kenley Jansen recorded his 400th career save, just the 7th player to do so in MLB history as the Red Sox beat the Braves 5-2 yesterday.
A couple of other injury notes in the big leagues. The Atlanta Braves, kind of a double whammy yesterday. Benny got hit with injuries for Kyle Wright and Max Fried. Both going to be out a couple of months, so they're already talking. The rumor mill is already abuzz of potentially a Giolito, a Lance Lynn, Eduardo Rodriguez of the Detroit Tigers. I mean, they're going to need somebody. I don't know. I make that call and say, hey, can I interest you guys in former Braves legend Julio Teheran? Right, pitching. He re-signed a deal with the Padres, pitching down in the minor leagues. I mean, they need some arms right now.
What do the Braves have
Spencer
offensively.
Strider, I will take.
No, I would say
Sean Murphy would be fantastic.
offense.
No,
well,
it's not gonna happen.
they do have some excess catching, that's for sure. In Atlanta right now.
Do they?
I mean, they've got Darno and Murphy. They got two essential starters at
true.
catcher that are splitting time. I don't know that they'd be willing to
I don't think they'd give up either.
for a starting pitcher. Certainly not for Tehran.
Not for Tehran.
Weathers? Send him back to the South.
His mom did say that she was done with this.
A little
Time
more,
to move on.
maybe some bullpen help for the Padres. You could bring Kirby Yates back.
Hashtag time to move on. Interesting. I wonder, you
you did have your junior GM shirt.
I
on.
have
It's
it
now-
on.
It's under the sweatshirt now, but you're going to play junior GM and try to, help solve a Braves problem and fix something for the Padres at the same time.
Would be interested. And I wonder, you do wonder when that happens. I asked AJ Preller that question once. Remember? I said, when you see
ambulance chasing,
I said, when you see a team that loses, a guy goes down, do you shoot out a text? And he goes, I'm not an ambulance chaser, Woods. And I was like, I'm not saying you're an ambulance chaser, but hey, man, if you guys need something, we may have a surplus. We could use a little help here. We all watch Moneyball. We saw how Billy and Mark Shapiro did it with the Cleveland Indians at the time. So yeah, man. Or is it decorum to wait for the text from them? You reach out. I reach out immediately and say, "Ooh, tough blow on Fried and Wright."
I'd probably be like, I'd wait, but then I'd feel like, someone else is getting in front of me.
100%.
Got to be aggressive in this game.
I agree. So, man, maybe there is a early season trade to be explored.
So, Paulie, am I correct in saying that this is our last segment of the show coming up next?
That is accurate.
All right, it'll be a long segment. Okay. We'll have
Good.
Eno.
I love it.
We'll go through the top of the hour and then right to Sam Levitt and the Padres pregame show. So how about that? Eno is a great way to set up a Padres early pregame show today. He is coming up next with our Smart Baseball segment on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Here are the deets on AleSmith tomorrow. We're going to be broadcasting live at AleSmith Brewing Company beginning at 6 a.m., and then it continues on with Braden in for Coach, and then Gwen and Chris. Show up early. We got coffee. We got food. $5, $3.94 pale ales. I know our next guest, Eno Saris, loves some good craft brew. It's all day long. People of all ages welcome to join in, and then stick around after all the broadcasts. The Padres-Dodgers game going to be on with the sound on throughout the entire tasting room. So join us tomorrow morning at AleSmith Brewing Company, 97.3 The Fan, live all day, just like we were in the playoffs. Should be a great atmosphere to open the Padres-Dodgers series on the road. But we will talk with that craft beer aficionado, Eno Saris, right after this check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the Premier Cadillac of Carlsbad Traffic Center, part of the Premier Auto family, here's Kelly Danek.
Traffic is sponsored by the all-new Premier Cadillac of Carlsbad. We still have a few problems out here. Vehicle fire being cleared on northbound side of the 805 just before Palm Avenue. Everything is over the right shoulder. Also traveling on the westbound 8 past Waring Road. There's a collision involving a couple vehicles. They are in the center divide. Then just up ahead before the 805, stalled car blocking that slow lane. South on 163 before the 52, we are getting reports of some debris in the slow lane. The Big O Tires Clear Ride, southbound 5 from Encinitas on down toward the split. Brought to you by Premier Cadillac of Carlsbad with brand new 2023 Cadillac XT4s and XT5s in stock now. Stop in or shop online at CadillacCarlsbad.com, a proud member of the Premier Carlsbad family of dealers. I'm Kelly Danek with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Best open in the business for sure.
No
As
question.
we welcome our friend from the Athletic,
Son of a bitch.
Eno Saris. Good morning, Eno.
How you guys doing?
Good, buddy. How are you? Did
wish
you hear
could
that
be
new
with us.
open?
You heard it last
Yeah.
week.
Oh, that's right.
I wish you could be with us at AleSmith tomorrow. That would be a lot of fun to have you down there for one of those events. Maybe later this year.
There was it the Speedway Stout
Yeah.
with the Vietnamese coffee is one of my favorite beers of all time.
Very good choice for Imperial Stouts. A little higher on the at the alcohol level, but delicious.
Well, I missed you last week, Eno. I was at Disneyland with my kids. Great afternoon and then much needed break with the family. But I don't know what you guys all covered, but I wanted to talk to you. We've been talking obviously about, runners in scoring position has been a real bugaboo for the San Diego Padres. I tagged you in that graph this morning. Can you explain to our audience, and let's be honest, us, what exactly that means? The bad swing path that the Padres are really taking as a whole.
Yeah. So with the advent of Hawkeye, what we had is a system that was able to tell the difference between the bat and the arm. And so now we're able to track the bat as a separate entity from the player. And so now we can say things like they just released last year some early bat speed numbers that we couldn't do with TrackMan. And what teams have, and I've seen this, is a path grade. Now that's what that person has. He's got a great book. It's called Quantitative Hitting by D.K. Willard. And that's his handle. What's his handle? It's Swing Graphs.
Yes, Swing Graphs.
What he's done is take vertical bat angles, so sort of the verticality of the bat as it comes through the zone. He's used that to create a bat path. And what I can say is teams are doing that. What I can also say is that this science is 3 years old. And so I can't speak on how specifically good his model is, or even how good team models are. And so teams, I think, are hesitant. Some teams are a little bit more all in, being like, hey, this is only 3 years old, but we tested it, we think it's right, and we're going to draft based on this, and we're going to start to coach based on this. And other teams are taking a little bit of a slower approach to it. So I can't say that his model is completely correct. One thing that's interesting to me is that if you look at something like barrel rate, which is the number one stat that's predictive of future power.
Yep.
Because it looks at, hitting balls in the right angles at the right velocities. San Diego is 10th in barrel rate. So they're not like swinging noodles out there, and it gets a little bit worse when you look at hard hit. Their hard hit rate is 23rd. So those are two metrics that kind of encapsulate, they're okay. When they hit the ball hard, they hit it in the air. That's good. They don't hit the ball hard enough. That's bad. And what he's saying is that their bat isn't vertical enough through the zone. One thing that you can really see it on is Juan Soto made a change to his swing, a couple years ago to have a much flatter swing. And it's really good on pitches high in the zone. It's a swing that you might see if you watch the Astros with Correa and Bregman. So they're great at pitches high and tight, high in the zone. They're not as great at pitches low in the zone. It's a conversation we've been having on the show.
Yep.
And so part of that is that to hit pitches low in the zone, you do have to have a more vertical bat. If you just think about the geometry of it, you're trying to get a pitch down in the zone. You're going to do it by sort of dropping your bat and having a more vertical bat. And so that's part of the picture. And it definitely is true for Soto. I can't tell if it's true for everybody. I think Grisham's swing is a little flat. He likes high balls. But Manny Machado can lift low balls. So I don't know if it's pervasive on the whole team.
Shockingly, that actually makes perfect sense to me. That if you want to hit a low ball, you start with your hands up fairly high, so you're going to have an angle that's going down to get it. But a high ball, you want to have a fairly flat angle because, well, your hands are already up there. Whatever Juan Soto's been doing lately,
keep doing it.
Keep doing that. He is absolutely scorching the ball
he
right
hit
now.
A fairly low ball. That home run
to
the center was not a high pitch. So maybe he's been doing some work in the cage.
What are you seeing from Fernando Tatis Jr. in his albeit very short time back with the Padres? I mean, he's barreled some balls. He hit a really nice seed last night out to left center. What are you seeing out of him?
Yeah, I can't declare him all the way back until, he used to hit balls 115 and 116, and he hasn't quite done that yet. So I can't declare him all the way back. But if, I do think there's a little bit more in there. You're talking about a guy knocking the rust off after a long time off. A whole year off. He has to, part of being a hitter is seeing these pitchers, seeing their shapes, getting accustomed to the specific pitchers you're seeing. And if you take a year off, almost everybody feels new to you. And so I would say he's doing really, really well, considering that, he's having to relearn every pitcher he sees.
The throw velocity on his outfield assist last night was actually apparently quite rare. Even he was apparently surprised and impressed when someone told him, 100 miles an hour on the throw from right field. Can you put that into perspective a little for us?
Before that, the highest throw that I had heard, even on the infield, was an O'Neill Cruz 98.6. So this might be, the one thing that they can't say at StatCast is like, this is the hardest throw ever. What they can say is this is the hardest throw we've tracked, because for some reason, throws don't always get tracked. And so this is definitely the hardest number I've seen from StatCast. And that's pretty impressive. Think about what it takes for a pitcher to throw over 100. They're on a mound. They get the advantage of going down the mound. They're also, it's static, right? Like they're not trying to do it at a certain time. They get all the time, and well, not all the time. Well, we have a pitch clock now, but you know what I mean? Like they get to dictate the pace, whereas he had to get that ball in as quick as possible. And so super athletic. I think that's a really good sign for his shoulder. The other question I think is, of course, the wrist, which some people said was going to be a bigger deal. And so that's what I'm waiting for, that 113, that 114, that 115, and just one of those tears too, where he just hits a ton of homers in a couple weeks. So I think that's coming, but the shoulder looks like it's good.
Should we convert him to catcher? Saris with an arm like that behind the dish, and again, seemingly healthy. No, it's been a bit of a bugaboo for the Padres early
You got
on.
Ohtani out there. Make him your setup guy.
100%. Yeah, make him our 100%. We lost Robert Suarez. Tatis comes in for the 8th. I'm more than fine with it at this point. No, it's been we're trying to obviously caution fans and listeners and ourselves, to kind of stay the course and be patient. You're not seeing what you're seeing like in St. Louis, right? Mm-hmm. Speak a little bit about, if you could, their pitching, because they pulled Wilson Contreras from behind the dish and made him a little bit of a scapegoat, in my opinion. And then the pitching has continued to not be all that great. Talk a little bit about how their rotation was built.
I mean, this is a long-term thing with them, a pitch-to-contact philosophy that I think worked just because they had a really nice home park. They had the shift. They had really good defenders. Now it's a slightly older team where the defense is not quite as good as it was last year. There are shift rules, and the ball is actually flying a little better across baseball this year. So all these things have conspired to make the pitch-to-contact philosophy, which, to be clear, is arcane in baseball these days. Like, there are not basically any other teams espousing pitch-to-contact.
Wow.
And so, having them do this pitch-to-contact philosophy in the face of all these changes, I think has really blown up in their face. Now, in the bullpen, they have much more of a normal approach. They have a guy, Ryan Helsley, who throws 100, They have another guy who throws 90. Giovanni Gallegos throws 98 with a 90-mile-an-hour slider. So, they, in the bullpen, have actually, have the Stuff Plus number. They're a top 10 bullpen by Stuff Plus. They're a top 10 bullpen by strikeout rate. They're a top 10 bullpen by results. That's the same. Those are the same pitchers that pitched to Wilson Contreras.
Yeah.
They pitch to Wilson Contreras, and the starters pitch to Wilson Contreras, and the starters are bad, and the bullpen is good, and that has nothing to do with Wilson Contreras. I mean, yes, he's not as good of a framer as Yachty, and maybe not as good a game caller, and that might have cost them. I think over the course of the season, that would cost the Cardinals a win or two, but this is a team that is looking for 10 wins right now.
And that Ben said it earlier in the week, and I really liked what he said. We were talking to Katie Wu, who you know very well, and she pretty much said exactly what you said. The defense and the shift was really helping them. Organizational hubris, which I think is just a fantastic way to describe the Cardinals, really in a nutshell. And I when you look at the velos from the guys in their starting five, you're right, man. Helsley can absolutely bring it in the bullpen. Gallegos can bring it in the bullpen, but then you've got Flaherty. Velo down a little bit. He was very, very pissy this week when they asked him about his velo being down. He's
given up the second worst slugging percentage in baseball on the four-seamer among starters.
That's
and he's
amazing.
Out there saying, "Oh, I did it on purpose." No, you didn't. You're not bad on purpose.
I just the organizational hubris is really kind of makes sense to me when you're talking about that team.
Yeah, I mean, I think the player development is obviously something I talk about a lot. It's one of my passions. It's something I think about the most. And why player development is so important is that there's this balance between what you know and what you don't know. And there is no organization that knows everything. And so you have to tell your players, hey, I'm telling you the best of what I know. I have to be open to you telling me that I'm wrong so I can go research it and maybe we'll find something new and grow. It's called the sort of growth mindset, right? Where you're like, we're always trying to be better. But at the same time, you have to broadcast something to all your coaches and to all your players in the organization. So you do have to have a clarity of purpose where you're like, this is what we believe right now. So there is that sort of tension between, this is the best of what we know right now. We're always trying to get better, but we need to tell everybody this. And I think the Cardinals had something that worked for a long time. So they got really used to broadcasting things like defense, pitch to contact, play your position and all those things. That's the Cardinal way. And it worked for so long. We heard from a Cardinals pitcher that, he heard from his pitching coach, no, strike him out. He heard from his director of player development, no, pitch to contact. That's a sign of a team trying to turn the tanker. I think we've seen a little bit of it with the Padres, where I think they identified certain holes where in their player development, where they tried to make some hires and tried to move some things around. And, I think with Ruben Niebla at the top and some of the changes they made underneath, we've seen some changes in terms of what kind of pitches pitchers come to the big leagues with and in the Padres organization now, how prepared they are, and stuff like that. So it's not easy to change a player development department, and it takes a lot of work. And once you have good coaches, they'll start getting hired away. So you have to keep hiring, you have to keep growing. It's something that doesn't just stop. And I think maybe the Cardinals at some point were like, no, we got to figure it out.
Talking to our friend Eno Sarris from The Athletic, and Woodsy, when you were gone last week, kind of schooled me when I defended Bob Melvin for using Josh Hader in the 9th inning.
Yeah.
When said, really, you want to save him for the 10th and that runner on second base. Well, I had a chance in the 10th yesterday, did not get the job done, did strike out the side, but after letting that tying run in and the Padres lose in extra innings. So I'm going to change the discussion this week, and we've had a little bit of a debate about the small ball in extra innings versus going for the big inning. Padres were able to get the runner over, got it in on a squeeze bunt, but one run in the top of an extra inning obviously isn't as valuable as one run in a regular inning in a game like that. What's kind of the numbers have been telling you about the best way to play in extra innings when you're the visiting team?
Yeah, it's really interesting because the home team right now, it does not have the same home field advantage. In the history of the sort of runner on second rule, the home field does not have the home team does not have the same home field advantage as it used to in the extra innings. And I think that part of that is bullpen usage. The home team is much more likely, I think, or is likely to use their closer in the 9th. And to be fair to you, I don't think that's a crazy idea either, because you still have to get to the 10th. So the 10th doesn't exist if you screw up in the 9th, right? So I understand the idea of like using the closer in the 9th. That makes sense too. But given
now the Twins used him in both the 9th and the 10th, and that helped him out a little bit. So.
Oh, they had Duran.
They had Duran for 2 innings yesterday.
Filthy.
He is nasty.
Jesus,
my goodness gracious.
Lord.
So nasty. And he wasn't that long ago a starter, so that's why it's nice to have a young closer like that. But the other thing that happens is the visiting team, I think, more often plays for multiple runs in the top of the 9th, because they know that in the bottom of the 9th, the home team is going to have an easy chance to score one run.
Yep.
It's easier to score one run. Like you said, you bunt the guy over, you get a sacrifice fly, one run, boom. The expectation is actually for more than one run if you have a guy on second with no outs, in terms of like what happens across baseball. So getting one run is actually easy enough. So the visiting team plays for multiple runs. They usually just say, hey, let's swing away. Let's have a big inning, because we know that they can get one run in the bottom and we want to get 2 runs. And so that's why I think the visiting team has had a slight advantage even in extra innings with the new rules.
On a less analytic note, was that a ballpark French dip you were eating earlier this week? That looked amazing.
Yeah, it was. It's really good. Behind home plate in San Francisco, there's a place that has a really nice pastrami, and that was a brisket French dip.
Ooh, it looks so good. I'm like mouth watering. I'm looking at it right now again, going, well, can I get one of those things?
Yeah, early in the day I had an all veggie lunch, so I felt I could
treat
go
yourself.
with the all.
I like the caption. Pickles count as vegetables, right?
Yes, they do.
Absolutely. Looked really, really good. Well,
somebody else said the dip counts as a soup. So basically, you just had veggies and soup.
It's just hydration. They're staying hydrated.
Soup and a meat salad.
French dip liquid.
Exactly.
Yeah. We appreciate you, man.
Yeah,
That's
thank
really,
you.
really good stuff today.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
Eno Sarris on our Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad fan hotline. Save money the right way with Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad. Visit them today in the Carlsbad Auto Mall. Chevrolet, find new roads.
That was Eno Sarris, sponsored by 7 Mile Casino, featuring all of your favorite table games like California-style blackjack, poker, and baccarat. Just 7 minutes from the ballpark.
Now, normally we'd be taking a break here, coming back, getting ready for our final hour, maybe a little Reindl report, headlines, some topic wheel. But no, we are staying here. We are going to lead you right into the Sammy Levitt pregame show with some early Padres baseball coming up, with the pregame show starting in 13 minutes. Mark from right now.
Where is Sammy Levitt?
I'm sure he's nearby.
He's around.
Maybe he'll stumble in for the last couple
How
of
much
minutes.
longer
of the
do
show.
we have to do?
We have about 8 minutes or so.
Oh, Lord. The hell
You
are we
didn't
going to do
say
for
something
8 minutes?
big?
No, I
Well,
got nothing.
I know how to fill 10 seconds of it.
Basketball?
Let's pause for station
yes.
identification here on KWFN and the Padres Radio Network.
KWFN and KWFN HD1 San Diego.
This is Joe Musgrove. Joe does it himself. 1-4-3, and that's all for the
The
Giants.
Padres play here on San Diego's #1 sports station. 97.3 The Fan. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
All right, it's just about 7 minutes and 40 seconds now to fill here before Sammy's pregame show.
We do it in silence.
No.
Silent
you know what
protest of
I
the
haven't
offense.
done, and I meant to do this repeatedly earlier in the week. I did not congratulate our former NIL sponsored golfer, Steve Sugimoto, who made it through local U.S. Open qualifying in the last few days and will get an opportunity to go to sectional qualifying. It's 1 day, 36 holes, and usually the top, 7, 8 guys in that tournament, that 36-hole one-day tournament, go to the U.S. Open. We'll get a chance to play in the Open, which will be at Los Angeles Country Club, LACC, coming up here next month.
36.
1 day. It's,
1 day.
They call it golf's longest day. It's a grind. I mean, you got some of the best amateurs and pros who are out there trying to qualify and get a spot in one of the majors. It's the most, as Tin Cup says, democratic golf tournament in the world.
That's true.
And Steve Sugimoto is going that democratic way. He got through the first stage. Now he's trying to get through that second stage. And if he does that, and he has a good day, we could see
in the U.S. Open
Steve Sugimoto in the U.S. Open next month at LA Country Club.
When and where are the sections?
So I don't know which one he's playing in. They have I think there's like 8 or 9 of them around the world. I mean, there's one in Japan. He could be playing the one in Japan. He could be playing the one in California. They have them throughout the United States, and they're all usually right about a week before the U.S. Open.
Ooh,
and I didn't find out which one he was playing in, but I will certainly be rooting for him. Odds are still kind of long. I'm going to be like 100 players in the field, and only like 6 or 7 of them will get spots in the Open. But you have a good day, we could actually see our boy not
God, that would
only
be
on
amazing.
in the his first major tournament, which would be incredible.
That would be incredible to watch that kid in the U.S. Open. Would we go up for that?
I would love to go up for that.
It's in L.A.
I would want to caddy for him in the U.S.
Don't do this.
I'd caddy for him on the 36-hole longest day in golf if I could. I think it'd be a lot of
Your
fun.
jokes and stuff would ruin him. You're not a good caddy.
You've never even given me a chance.
I've played golf with you enough to know that you wouldn't be a
I
good
could be
caddy.
very serious.
Paul.
No.
He would hit one bad shot. And I'm like, oh, I don't want to hit it there. You have to pump your caddy up.
I look good in a caddy bib,
but you're
with pockets
the
and
problem
things.
is,
here's what I would do.
You can't. You
I know
can't
how to
have a
rake.
caddy.
I'm good at raking the bunkers.
You can't have a caddy that thinks he can beat you. That's the other problem. Is Ben still in his mind thinks he can beat?
But won't that just motivate him more?
No,
Like I can't play
no.
poorly, or Ben's going to think that I can beat him.
Oh,
I
God.
don't play great golf.
I know so little about golf, but I would be, except for the walking and
Just
carrying
be
the
his hype
bag,
man.
Be his hype man. There's a reason he's not going to ask you.
So
to
just
do it.
walk the course yelling,
Not yelling.
"You the man!" or "Get
the
in the
man,
hole! Get
the
in the
man,
hole!"
the man, the myth, Steve Sugimoto. No, I don't know that you have the knowledge. Certainly, I don't know that you have. It's just me walking around with a megaphone. The man, the myth. I don't know that you have the temperament to do it. You have the knowledge, certainly. The
No.
golf knowledge.
Hey, I'm throwing it out there. If
The
he
other
needs a
thing
caddy.
is
So
you
offended right now.
kind of play way too
I do worry
conservative.
that we get to the second round and I'll be like Tin Cup's friend who starts huffing and puffing though and can't make it at the end.
He has to carry his
What
own
was his
bags.
name? Yeah, because
the
he's
the big guy.
Yeah, he got exhausted.
I think that also you would play
Because
too,
Romeo got offended and
too,
left.
too conservative.
Well, I mean, you got to be somewhat. The U.S. Open is this conservative
Yes,
golf
that
as you're
is.
ever going
But
to
to
play.
get there,
qualifying, maybe you have
gotta-
to be more aggressive.
You got
I
to
don't
let
know
them hang a little bit.
what the strategy is.
I would just go for it. You got it. You got that in your bag.
I mean,
got
you
it.
don't have to shoot like 10 under, but you need to just, around. You're going to set it up tough. So, around par, a couple under,
Yeah.
over 36 holes might be good enough to get into the Open.
I still never played 36 holes in a day.
Did it last Saturday. It's exhausting.
Did you guys see? I didn't even see this yesterday. I was not in the top of the third inning. John Boy Media just tweeted out this video. They
I saw
had to
this.
watch this 10 times to believe it was
To make
real.
sure it was not fake.
And it's Fernando Tatis Jr. stepping into the box and a couple practice swings, just getting ready. And while he's getting ready,
That's the Twins broadcast, right?
The Twins broadcast on the bottom third of the screen, a banner pops up. And the score goes away and it says injured in a motorcycle accident. Call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS.
Personal injury lawyer ad on Tatis. Now, listen, am I going to go demand a full apology from the Minnesota Twins organization today because they did that to our beloved Fernando Tatis?
Part-time job at the local paper?
Tatis Jr. I'm not going to.
You think that was intentional? I mean, obviously, they must be a sponsor of the broadcast. Did someone?
Oh, it was completely intentional. Of course,
they didn't like invent an ad.
No.
They were already going to run that
joke.
ad.
But it's either it's the greatest instance of happenstance ever, or it is like, hey, this will be a good bit. What a great time to throw that up there. I think, hey, let's
subtle for sure.
It's hysterical, number one, and very, very smart.
It was well done.
And by the way, what's everyone tweeting about right now? 1-800-LAW-TIGERS. You know what I'm saying? Like everyone in the world is like, oh my God.
I wonder if it's their idea or if it's just the Twins' idea and Law Tigers is like, this is amazing.
This is incredible. Oh, I think it's so good. I mean, listen, you can't dish it out and not take it, right? So did you guys hear the comments from Joe Musgrove? He didn't like the Clayton Kershaw meme either, which surprised me a little bit because there's also a video of Joe Musgrove saying F the Dodgers.
Absolutely.
So I was a little surprised that he didn't enjoy the crying Kershaw meme the other night.
I mean, I think when you take a shot organizationally, it's a little bit different than when you single out one player.
Yeah.
To me, that's the only thing that bothered me just even a little bit is make all the fun of the Dodgers that you want. I certainly expect them to make fun of the Padres, but when you single out one player, baseball's such a hard sport that singling out one guy is always tough.
Yeah, I
don't think there was any harm meant by it at all.
No apology necessary.
All right, that's the music, and Sammy's right out there. It means that it's time for Padres pregame coming up next. We will be at AleSmith tomorrow morning. See you bright and early at 6 a.m. for Paul Reindl, for Stephen Woods. I'm Ben Higgins. Good luck to the Padres. We'll talk to you tomorrow morning right here on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.